Welcome in. This is a full episode of the Philcast. If you like this type of content, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe up, and watch the podcast all the way to the end so the YouTube algorithm knows that the community wants to see videos like this. Alrighty, we are firing up here with the Philcast, and I have a special guest like always, but this time it's even more legendary because we have the Iceman. Everybody give it up for the Iceman. What's going on, dude?
What's up, Phil? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's wanted to have you on because I know watching your videos very, in my opinion, very entertainment driven. It's a lot of like you're just kind of the way you act. I feel like you're putting intentional purpose into how you're acting to kind of be entertaining, and it just I crack up sometimes when I'm watching your videos because of just how you act when you're doing even just where you're showing a build and stuff like that. So
I appreciate it, man.
yeah.
A really good time. Yeah, I do enjoy entertaining. I think that's part of why I do it. I don't delve too deep into fine details. I mean, sometimes I do, but there's something about being a crazy mofo that, for whatever reason, I found appealing for the last however many years.
Yeah, sometimes it isn't with having the creativity outlet of a channel and stuff like that. And kind of as I've gotten older, sometimes I just find acting just goofy and stuff is just so fun to do. And when you have the creative outlet like different channels and stuff, you can really, act ways you wouldn't normally act really in real life kind of things, like. So one thing I was going to ask about when we're going to roll right into that, I always start off with a hard-hitting question. But this is kind of like a boomer question right here.
You weren't going to grill me.
So all the time you say things like, this is so Toad and stuff like that. Where did that come from? And like, I know it means like, this is good, but I don't know. Did it come from somewhere? Is it an acronym like, or something? Or is it just something that you have always said? Or
it's not an acronym. I think I just pulled that out of my ass one day, man. And it just somehow it just took off, Now, I haven't been using it as much as I did a couple years back, but I don't really know how it started. I just it was just a catchword that I used in it, and I kept it, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Same thing with a couple others.
So it never came from anything. You just picked a random amphibian. Just like,
yeah, I mean, it must have been that I was looking to have something unique. And
okay, yeah.
What I like about it though is that it can be used in several different ways. Like it can have several different meanings. Like you can call somebody a toad, and it certainly can be a derogatory statement, but yet your item can be absolute toad, and that's like an awesome thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So toad, it has dual meanings to it, depending, I think, on the tone and the context. So I think that's why I stuck with something like that. Yeah.
All right, yeah, that's one of the things, and then the way you say it too, and it just cracks me up. Like I don't know, almost the conviction that you like. Oh, this weapon's so bleeping Toad, man. Like it just cracks me up, and that's part of what I was talking about in the entertainment part. Like you probably don't even, you might not even. It depends on how you plan to record your stuff, I guess, but you might not even think about it, but you naturally just flow out that way, and it just kind of cracks me up sometimes. It really does.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad that you can find that somewhat entertaining. Yeah, I don't know what it is exactly. I think I like to try to make people laugh when I can, and there's probably something freeing about it as well, about just taking the road less traveled in those ways. Or maybe I'm giving myself too much credit already, but that must be how it came to be. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Because there's definitely other things. I'll just go ahead and mention how I don't know if you use this stuff in like every video, but when you were streaming for a while, a little bit, and you would be, oh, I hope you have many wives, and this, and may the light of Sunder bless you and stuff. It just kind of a funny, and then obviously then you kind of have your own like thing or whatever, which obviously having like your own brand is a good idea. Something that if somebody hears, or that's just like, it gets the whole people watching your videos get they kind of get involved too, saying in the comments, or if you're streaming, when you're streaming, saying it, stuff like that. It's definitely a good idea, and yeah, you definitely nailed that. So
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like there's something special in that. It's like the uniqueness about that is I'm literally deriving power or calling it down from the creator, as I like to say. You know what I mean?
yeah, there you
And
go.
I'm blessing my fans with that. So as far as I see it, there's not many better things than that can be had in this existence. If what I'm saying is true, you know what I mean? Where I'm calling forth blessing to those who are watching and my fans, and that could be many wives, or it could be just great health in abundance, or it could be that their enemies get destroyed, things like that. Just I basically, well, a lot of the things are probably things that I want done unto myself. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah, I've heard
Not
you
all of them,
bless
but
people with a bunch of gold or something. I've heard you say that,
yeah.
and much
And their
money.
enemies can be crushed and things of that sort. That one I think I did steal from Conan the Barbarian, but all the other ones, as far as I see it, I pretty much made them up. That their offspring can be in great number, like the stars in the sky, things like that. I mean, it seems like who the hell wouldn't want those? As long as you're financially well off and your wives are extremely loyal, it seems to me like in general, your common man is going to find that appealing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
There are some, of course, who fall along the wayside or the bell curve, and I'm not judging them. And I probably have blessings for them as well if they're watching the videos, But I definitely send blessings more toward my patrons and my channel members. I'm really not trying to plug it here, but I'm just saying, I do focus them some. You know what I mean?
Right. No, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That's kind of anyone who's got supporting the channel and stuff like that. Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
And I think that last time we collaborated, I did wish blessings upon you as well, Phil, that your videos would do well and get
You
views in abundance
you
and
did.
things of
I
that sort.
thank you very much. Yeah. And then you proceeded to destroy
My
me
pleasure.
with a death fathom
Oh,
drop or something. Right.
right.
Right. Isn't that what
I
happened?
found the fathom. Yeah, I found the fathom, and I found a perfect cold facet, a 5/5 cold facet.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Yeah.
think it was the level up one, however, but
Yeah,
it's
I
fine.
found like a lot of stuff, but yeah, and if anyone doesn't know, anyone watching this doesn't know what we're talking about. Back, it was that was on Project Diablo 2, or was that regular Diablo 2 we did that one on? I can't remember for sure,
I
but
believe that was D2R.
oh,
Yeah,
D2R, okay, yeah, okay. So
it was D2R not long after it was released, I believe.
we did
From the
a
get-go.
Magic Find battle, which I haven't done in a while, but pretty much I think we did a certain number of hours, I think, in the Chaos Sanctuary. Whoever gets the best drops, we both make a highlight video, link to them, hit up the comments. So yeah, actually, you know what? I'll throw in the link. I'll throw in the description to this stream right here, links to those videos actually too. You guys check those out. The other times that the Iceman and Sweet Phil collaborated on that stuff. But little spoiler alert, he wrecked me. He wrecked me. I had a bunch of little stuff and he had a couple of really good things, and everyone was like, Ice Boy destroyed you. Ugh.
I feel like most of them were in favor of mine, and I did find the three-socketed Tomb Reaver or Tome Reaver. How do you say it?
Tomb Reaver.
Tomb Reaver.
I don't know.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if I should be the one you're coming to for pronunciations of Diablo 2 items.
That's not good.
I found a set Ogre Mall, that's for sure. But
If there's two of us, yeah, that's not going to make for a good. That's fine. We'll deal with it.
that's like my channel running joke, the Ogre Mall, and that's actually
the Ogre Mall. Yeah.
Ogre Mall, yeah, and that's what and then when the Sunder chimes came out, everyone's, oh, how are you gonna pronounce that? Like, actually, the ER in French is like an A sound, so you should tell everybody it's called a Sunday charm. And then
really?
yeah, it's like a thing now. They're just like trying to pronounce everything wrong, but yeah, literally
calling them Sunder.
Yeah, so there's Sunder charms. I'm trying to get there's, you could call them Sundies. I don't know. I'm spitballing. I'm trying to get something to stick. You got Annie. You don't call them Annihilus charms. They're Annie charms. I'm going to make up a name and everyone's going to stick on the Sunday charms. That's what everybody's using, right?
Yeah, we'll see if that
Iceman, you're going to start calling them Sundies.
If you're saying it, man, I think it'll gain some grounds.
Right, right. No, I think when people after the Ogre Mall, everyone's like, yeah, we're not going to listen to how that guy says anything from now on.
They're not going to trust you.
No. So speaking of, while we're talking about Sundays and Terror Zones and stuff, what are your general overall thoughts on Terror Zones and like the Sunder charms in general from everything that we know so far? Obviously, I mean, it's PTR, they could change things, but they already announced the ladder reset date, so I don't know how much time they really would have to change anything. So what are your opinions on those particular things?
Well, it's a very deep topic now, isn't it?
Very deep, very deep.
Just to touch on it lightly for a moment, before maybe you want to chime in. I think that the terror zones, initially, I think I like to criticize whatever updates they come up with,
Mm-hmm.
but terror zones, what I like about them is it incentivizes us to play out the game areas that we normally don't play. You know, maybe we're running through hell, we go through one or two spots and we'll never revisit them again. Now with the terror zones, with how abundant they are throughout, it just gives us reason to explore all the content instead of just the limited 85 areas. Really, I like the terror zones pretty much entirely, except for one concern that I have in regards to them, which is I wonder how easy it's going to be to get to 99 with them, because that's just kind of up in the air still, isn't it? Has anyone actually experimented with it and found out what's it like to go from 90 to 99 for that matter?
I'm not sure because with original PTR characters, and that's like they were maxed out Endgame. There was a 98 character, there was a 95 character. I got I was using the 95 traps in quite a bit, and I got like maybe one bar up, but I didn't do a ton of like players 8 terror zoning. It was just like messing around, like whoever wanted to join. So a lot of times I'd by myself, or it'd be 3 or 5. Sometimes it was max, but I haven't really seen anybody that was like for sure, you know, nobody who jumped in with, I think there was a 98 Fist of Heavens Paladin. They jumped in and grinded it for 8 hours and looked at it and did the math or anything. I'm not 100% sure. I know I seen Llama did some Stony Tomb runs. I seen him doing some math on that. Like it was, but I'm not there's certain things that I know math wise in the game, but like calculating experience and what that really means for leveling at certain from 97 to 98 or 98 to 99, that doesn't mean nothing to me. Like, you know, oh, we got 11 million experience this run, which that doesn't mean nothing to me. You know, like in my opinion, like leveling is the boringest part of the game. Like I never ever want to be in a situation where it's like, oh, I'm going out there to level. But that's the worst. Like if you get one sick caster amulet that's level 95 required, and you're like, oh, I'm only level 93, and now I gotta go level. Oh, you know. So for my opinion,
True.
yeah, and for my opinion on Terror Zones, like, and because of my hatred for leveling, I'm not really too concerned with it. I'm more curious of how the magic finding in those areas is going to be, because they're going to be super high level areas where you can find everything in the game. Like, is that going to mean that 85 areas are just don't matter anymore? You're not going to go like, where do I want to farm today? Like, oh, maybe I'll take this character to the pits, or maybe I'll just go run, places that aren't 85. It's like, where's the Terror Zone at? Oh, great, the Terror Zone, someplace that has dolls and souls. So I guess I'll just won't play Diablo 2 right now, and I'll just turn my computer off and walk away. You know, that's kind of I'm kind of anti-change guy too. So a lot of people probably hear my opinion on not wanting things to change and stuff. So Terror Zones specifically, I'm kind of against. I'm not like outraged against. I'm still gonna play the game, and stuff. So I'm not going anywhere. But that's kind of my concerns as far as it comes to Terror Zones. And
I wonder if they'll keep them.
you wonder if they'll keep them?
I wonder if they'll keep them throughout. Like if it's going to be a season 2 implement, correct? And isn't it still up in the air? Like they
Oh,
might not have them for season 3. I thought that stuff was supposedly going to be partly left up to the fans to decide,
okay,
is
yeah.
how they like to word it. But I mean, maybe I'm off on this. I thought that was in a blue post or something where this stuff isn't really set in stone forever just yet, including
Well,
the Sunder charms. But I could be wrong.
Well, a lot of times they well, I'm not saying it isn't, but like a lot of times I feel that they say things like that, like up to community feedback or this or that, like this PTR isn't set. Well, it's the ladder's starting in 2 weeks, so like, what are you gonna do? Like the ladder's starting a month late or a month and a half late because you were working on this, and you're gonna change everything in like a couple of days when it took you this long to get it this far. You know what I mean? So, and as for if it's just gonna be one season, it would almost be hard for me to believe, no knowledge of it, you know, I'm not a programmer or anything, that they're going to set the season ladder back a month for something that's they're only going to do for the one season. I would find that's like point number one on that. And then number two is really like, I am vastly in the minority. Definitely no illusions in my mind. It's like 80% of people are like, Terror Zones, yeah, Sunder Charms, yeah, like we love, new stuff, bring it on. So there's no doubt that I know from polling on my channel that I've done like little polls and stuff, that everyone else, it's like a 80-20 would be like an exaggeration. It's like 88-12, like want it to be in 80%, 88%, and 12 don't want the new stuff. So I would guess it's probably going to end up staying.
I would guess that as well, definitely. Maybe unfortunately, because I'm trying to look at it through a positive light, and like I said, I do like the aspect of it, of how it encourages us to farm all the areas that we normally don't farm. Like we're going to be farming cave or whatever in the stony field now for terror zones in it, a place where I would probably never venture into. So it gives us reason to see, the content, rather than just continually farming the pit, the Chaos Sanctuary, and Bal, and whatever else is 85 now. I know that they added a few others, but yeah, it is interesting because, like what you were saying, what if it's in a place with a bunch of dolls? Are we just going to avoid it then and come back later when it's somewhere else? It's because it is going to encourage us to always want to just farm the terror zones, because why wouldn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Is that they're going to have high level enemies with potentially good density. They're
Yeah.
going to be the best for leveling, and the best stuff's going to fall there. But of course, this best stuff can still fall in the pit. But
Yeah, the
yeah,
leveling
that's an
isn't going
interesting
to be
point.
as good in the pits. Is that's kind of mainly like a big part of it is for the leveling. I could imagine though, like early on, obviously like bail runs are going to be like if you get the Worlds Don't Keep terrorized, it's going to be real good, but it's going to be crazy hard like right off the bat too. A lot of people probably wouldn't even be able to survive like in the Worlds Don't Keep, because the way you did bail runs before, teleport down, portal up, and if there was any souls in the throne room, save and exit, you're doing another one, So, like,
Or if you just get the cold Sunder charm, you'll just face roll it all.
well, yeah, but and actually, you probably didn't see it. I actually just put out a video this morning about that. Like, I feel like, and this is a great segue. This is called professionalism. So,
Exactly.
Sunder charms. I feel like people aren't going to get as many Sunder charms as like they really think it's going to be, because they haven't announced the drop rates that I'm aware of, but they only come from. They did say they will only drop from champions and bosses in Terror Zone specifically. So you obviously can't get them till you're done with the game. You're going to be out there farming. And from also, once again, from some of the polling and stuff that I had done, it was 55% of Diablo 2 Resurrected players from my channel that voted in this poll didn't get a Torch and Annie for any of their characters in all of season 1. So this is 3 months into season 1, and they haven't gotten a Torch or Annie yet. And this isn't like an attack on anybody, but I feel like, in myself included, I don't believe some of us that play a lot more realize the way that everybody else plays. And
I think they're just watching the videos. They're not really playing.
maybe
No, that's part
but
of it.
the struggles they have, or like a lot of people will say, like on console, because they don't have the declone walks all the time, like on PC, because every streamer plays on PC. The streamers set up like SOJ selling sessions, get a declone to walk, everyone gets an Annie, but apparently on like Switch and stuff like that, that's not the case. So And plus, like if they walk all the time when they're at work and stuff, they can never get their antes and stuff like that. But I was kind of surprised by that, like 3-4 months into ladder, and with how on PC in my experience, people are like, "Oh, barb torch, just Charcy," like, "Oh God, get this out of here," and like I got like 4 antes in the first like few days, and I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna worry about getting any more antes." So I was kind of surprised by that. I don't know. Are you surprised by that type of number at all? That 50 over 50, like a majority of people didn't get a torch and Annie in season 1.
No, I mean my ass didn't get an Annie or a. Well, I think I did get one actually. One of my subscribers helped kill Declone for me. I don't think I got a torch, and I mean, but I
Okay.
wasn't really going hard into it. The reason it doesn't surprise me though is because I think the common player are probably the ones who do vote in favor for all this new stuff, like no matter what it is.
Yeah.
The terror zones is just something new. These might be guys who played Diablo 2 way back and who just now started wanting to play it again with D2R coming out. So they're all for just adding things probably without thinking about it too much, is my guess. They're not really, because the content creators or the Diablo YouTubers or Twitchers and all that, we're kind of seasoned. You know what I mean? Well, obviously, we're quite seasoned. So you realize the more depth in terms of the impact that these changes could cause. And I don't think that the common player realizes that. And,
Yeah.
in addition to that, the common player, like the 52 or whoever, the majority who voted in favor of that on your poll,
Hmm.
probably had maybe a couple thousand votes. Something in
Um,
that regard.
I would have to look that one up. I can't remember offhand. There were between like 2,500 and 6,000.
Nice.
The different polls that I did.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of votes on that, and my guess would be the indicate. It's just more of the, like I said, the common player. I don't think spends too much time in it. I think they go for a couple weeks, then they just quit
Yeah,
until next season. It's kind of my speculation until the next ladder reset.
yeah, and that's before I had a channel and everything. I mean, that's kind of how I was too, I suppose. I wasn't there for every ladder, and obviously, I'm thinking about longevity on this. At least until Diablo 4 comes out next year or whatever. But like, if Diablo 4 is not that great, I'm still gonna be sticking with Diablo 2. You know what I mean? So they're and a lot of times I feel like especially for something that's not super important to people, like new is going to be better, like new equals better for a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
things, like,
exactly.
so um and maybe it's partially just different people's personality wise. Like I don't get bored of things that I love a lot. So like some people do get bored of, I don't know, like if you drink the same beer for like 6 years and you're like, I can't drink it anymore. Or you listen to the same band for 6 years and you're like, new band, eat the same whatever, name your thing, play the same video game for 6 years, not get bored of it if it's very good. And my biggest concern is like if something's really good, it becoming not really good. I'm more concerned about that. If don't reinvent the wheel is pretty much what I'm saying. Diablo 2 has been so popular and has such a dedicated fan base for so long. I wouldn't want it to go the other way.
That's a good word. Well, that's interesting. I remember hearing you said on a stream one time how you tend not to get bored of Diablo 2 in that example, I think. I'm curious, before you started making videos, were you playing a lot of Diablo 2 just on your own off and on, or did you take long breaks?
I took some pretty long breaks. I played in like 2000 and see, I can't remember exactly. I think it was right after the battle chest came out is when I first bought Diablo 2 for myself. I was like going over to a friend's house and playing it here, playing it there. And then I went and bought it right after the expansion came out. And then I played it for a few years, took some years off, played like Halo, Call of Duty, all, different Final Fantasies, Elder Scrolls, all different stuff like that. Came back for a few years, took a few more years off, and then probably I would say a little bit, but maybe I can't even think, like, maybe a few months before I started my channel, I started playing Diablo 2 again, and that's kind of what sort of inspired me at the time to make videos or whatever. Like, I was looking up how to do stuff that I never knew when I was younger because, you know, making YouTube videos wasn't a thing. And like, you know, where would you get this information from? Everyone didn't know everything back then. So that's kind of what inspired me to start making videos. So, yeah, I mean, maybe I don't have as much like quote unquote playtime in as like a lot of more of the, like the, see, I hate that there's a difficulty called hardcore, because I want to say like more of the hardcore people, but that's like the people that die and then lose their character. But like, you know what I mean? The more dedicated, I don't know, people have been playing for literally 20 straight years. I'm not one of those people, but I probably haven't played another game in like 3.5 years now. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
You
probably.
haven't ventured into any other game?
I mean, but
Wow.
between not really having time, and
Right, I can understand that a little bit. I mean, I'm not that much of a gamer, really. I played Diablo 2 and maybe a few others, but I'm sorry, I was just kind of surprised by that 3 years, and maybe you have tried this or that.
well, I really haven't tried anything else either. Like I
Okay.
just ever since I used to play other games like when my daughter was like in diapers and couldn't walk, but since like it's always like, am I gonna go sit and play video games by myself, or am I gonna take my daughter to the park? You know, like
Oh,
am
sure.
I gonna
Yeah,
try
I
to?
can't get into games these days for whatever reason. Maybe it is because of adulthood or something. I don't know. I'm guessing that's part of what it is.
Uh-oh,
Because like
Ice
I
Boy's
tried,
getting responsible. Oh
yeah,
no.
because I used to love the Zelda games, right? And I was a teenager and I'd play Ocarina of Time and I loved it. And then a couple years later, or whenever this was several years later, when Twilight Princess came out, I was starting to try to get going somewhere or my shit together a little bit, which I probably didn't, but I was trying to at least. And so being in that state, I really couldn't get into the game. It's weird.
Hmm.
Because it
Yeah.
seemed to be an okay game. And then there's this Breath of the Wild Zelda that came out 5 years ago now. I could only play that for a few minutes and I just couldn't. I was like, what the hell am I doing just sitting here playing this game? I need to be doing something else. There's something about Diablo 2 where maybe there's something calming about playing it, or just I don't know, there's something about it obviously that a lot of us just love, where that really never had that sort of effect on me, where I felt like I had to just be doing I just can't enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like I could always enjoy Diablo 2 whether or not I'm trying to better myself or whatever. I think some people probably use it for medicating, just being able to shut off their life for a moment and
Right.
play the game. But yeah, so I think I could actually kind of relate with that. I tried a few games. I tried Elden Ring and I thought it sucked, and I tried a couple other games.
Yeah, that Elden
And I
Ring
just
was mega hype for a little bit there. Like everybody wanted to play that
uh,
game.
I got my ass kicked and then I quit. But I mean, I didn't try that hard. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's just that games these days just aren't as good as what they used to be, or is it just that I don't really care to invest my time in anything. But like I said, Diablo, there's something different about that. I think you can take 30 minutes of your day, an hour of your day, a couple hours of your day, in some instances, and just turn everything else off and just chill. And that's probably what gave me incentive to make a YouTube channel doing it. But I've also been playing World of Warcraft lately.
I
Classic.
did see you posting some World of Warcraft stuff on what, one of your other channels, I think, right? Didn't you start another one, or did you have
Yeah.
that one for a while? I don't remember.
Did a new channel, Spiritual Journeys with the Iceman. It has like 60 some subs and
Okay, all right.
4 videos. But I think I'm going to go with that for a couple months and see what happens. If I can't get the momentum going, I'll probably just quit. But I pretty much made it because I just want to play that game. So the game is a blast.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I really enjoy classic WoW. I'm not weathered in that game at all. Like, I think I got to, I never did endgame stuff in World of Warcraft Classic. So it's like such a big, vast world. It's a spiritual journey, man.
It,
So that's pretty much why I'm playing it. And
yeah,
I wanted to, and I figured I got to make some videos on this if I'm going to be playing it.
yeah, WoW is one of those games I never got into. I remember I literally went to the store, I picked it up and looked at it, and I think was I talking to the guy who worked there or something? I can't even remember, but it was like, oh yeah, this game is just like $15 a month, and I'm like, wait, hold up, $15 a month, like Diablo 2 is free forever. What do you?
That
Well,
got you, huh?
well, yeah, that's when I was like, no, I'm not buying that game. I'm paying $60 for a game and then $15 a month. These people are out of their minds. And I was like,
Yeah, you gotta check it out.
I don't care how popular this game is. I don't care how much people say they like it. There is no way I'm paying $15 a month for one game. Like maybe for like the internet, I'll pay $15 a month to play all the games. But there is no way.
What if you were raking it in through YouTube and then you could play that game? Could you then justify paying $15 a month?
Well, yeah, in that case, yeah. You're pulling
That's
in
my mentality.
you're pulling in like 6 figures a month and
I know, right at this point I'm like, if I
I'm just
could
joking.
get my money back playing this damn game, then I'm gonna keep this channel up.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, the fact is there that I do have to pay $15 a month to play it. But, for whatever reason, it's been kind of nice to balance that in Diablo 2. That's kind of what I'm up to right now, though. But that's interesting that you've been pretty set with Diablo 2 as the game. So I could understand why you might have some concerns of changes, right? Because these could be big changes.
Yeah,
It's going to change the end game, and some people are arguing it's going to make it too easy, and it's going to diminish hybrid builds and things of that sort. And melee's getting the shaft, and
oh yeah, Melee's getting a big girthy shaft for sure. But
these concerns seem to be out there.
yeah, and we'll have to see what they do. That's part of the thing, like the unknown, and the thing would be, I don't know, when I think the game is so freaking good as it is, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know? Like this is my opinion. Obviously, a lot of people disagree. They think the game is broken the way it is or whatever because Melee's not as good, and because, I mean, and that's one of the things. Almost all the things that people diagnose as the problems with Diablo 2, the Sunder charms are like exacerbating them. You know, they're making them worse. Like the casters are going to be even better. Like the sorceress, you're gonna have teleport, and you're gonna be able to break all immunities for no matter what type of lightning, cold, fire, without finding 2 burr runes to get infinity to break lightning. So
Javazans are going to destroy.
Javazans, I mean, you would think, like, just
especially with infinity,
it gets rid of the lightning immunes, and you can just melt them down. So, and it's not, and that's the thing that the Sunder Charm doesn't affect anything else except for specifically the lightning immunes, but just being able to like break every immunity, it better be. I feel like it's not going to be, because a lot of people have commented like, no, they're not going to make this item that nobody's ever going to be able to find, so it's going to be pretty common to find. And I'm like, gosh dang it, that makes perfect sense. That sounds exactly right. But also,
we speculate they're going to be common.
Yeah, that's a speculation, obviously, but it makes perfect sense. They're not like the people were commenting. They're not going to make an item that nobody's ever going to find. You know, they're not going to make an item as rare as Mangsong's Lesson or something, you know, or as rare as a Zod or a Cham or something that people find literally one of in a lifetime. They're going to make it so people can get it, which means everyone's going to have these things, like if they get to Endgame and play. But the people who get to Endgame and play are people like me who stream all the time, people who play 10 to 20 hours a week, not someone who plays 2 hours a week and doesn't get there. So it's like the people who play all the time and have the most knowledge on the game, so the game's sort of kind of easy for them a little bit, it's going to get even weaker and even easier for those people. And then the people who don't play as much are going to get left even further behind even faster. That's the way I view it anyways.
I think you're correct on that. And the thing is, it's interesting how they're going to have these falling in the terror zones, because their point is to increase build diversity. So they're telling us that we, however, get to still start the game that we always do and not have build diversity. Once we finally get to the terror zone with our cookie cutter character, then we can start farming Sunder charms, and then we can take it, and then we can have build diversity. It's weird how it's almost like if they're going to do this,
they need to drop from everywhere except for terrorists. Yeah.
Have them earlier in the game, like in normal mode. Have them fall from somebody in normal mode, because then you could, when season starts, you're going to be excited. I can finally make my fire sorceress, and she can run the entire game. It's going to be awesome. Or I can finally make, a fire druid, and it's going to be able to run the entire game from the start, because this is what Vicarious Visions has promised me, that there's going to be more build diversity now. And that's how they're encouraging us to come in here and play Season 2. So what's weird is, whether or not you agree with the Sunder Charms or not, it's just strange how we're still forced to go about playing the damn season as we normally would anyway, with whatever character is going to most optimally be able to farm these new terror zones, just to finally get the charm and then make the character build diversity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just weird how that's why I feel like they're going to be common. I feel like they're going to be falling like crazy in the terror zones, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah, you might be right. I'm kind of back and forth, because just with what it does, you'd think it'd have to be super rare. Like, the only thing close to that was Infinity before, and it took 2 Burr runes, which is quite a tall ask for almost anybody ever. Unless
I think I've only made one once, legitly.
Yeah.
It's way back, and I invested way too much time.
Yeah, unless you're like
probably 1 or 2 of the runes were hacked.
Unless you're JSP, and yeah, you're not really getting an Infinity solo in one season.
May or may not have been JSPing. I can't quite recall.
Yeah. No, it's all right. Yeah, I've touched it once or twice myself.
Maybe
back
that
in the
was
day.
going on. Yeah, that's a great point. And this might diminish the value of Infinity, but the thing is, and you sure that you know about the fact that Infinity's conviction, to my understanding, it's 1/5 effectiveness when it breaks an immunity. Is that correct?
Yeah. So yeah, when on what was it, lightning immunes, if they're 107, I don't remember the whole math. Yeah, but you're never getting lower than like 85 res on a lightning immune.
So the challenge until now was, you get Infinity, it's great, you can finally break the damn immunes. Now there's more endgame, arguably, and this endgame is min and maxing your character. All of a sudden, facets and things like griffins comes into play, where these things are so important now, because Infinity is only 1/5 effectiveness when it breaks this immunity.
Mm-hmm.
So now you need the facets, you need griffins to really obliterate. Now with the Sunder Charms, you're taking it down to 95, and all of a sudden, Infinity on your Mercenary, the level 12 conviction from it, is going to have a 100% effectiveness on piercing the enemy res. So things like griffins and facets, I feel, are going to be less needed now. They're not going to be as important. They're still going to be important and outputting more damage,
mm-hmm.
or piercing more res. They're not going to be as impactful, the whole min and maxing your character the facets, because once you can break it with Infinity, or once you don't have to break the lightning res any longer with Infinity, it's just going to, I think it's going to be pretty, going to be able to obliterate shit. If the lightning sorceress with the Javazon.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, that the damage for any monster that isn't immune to lightning is going to be identical to how it was before. So like the number of lightning immunes, it would be like, well, let's say if you're going through the Cast Sanctuary, what are those caster things are immune to lightning that you could break?
Those things.
But you could like melt those Javazon, you'd just be like, and they would be dead anyways,
We're never much of a problem, yeah.
So if you're going through like the Chaos Sanctuary with the Sunder Charm, with the Javazon, it's going to be like identical to how it was before, essentially. Like, but there are some instances, like the one that I'm thinking of, and I think I might have even changed what I'm thinking of starting ladder with, but like, we'll say for any type of the lightning sorceresses, you get one of the Sunder Charms, and then you get, what is Crescent Moon, has like minus 40, or has a bunch of minus lightning res on it, I don't remember what, right? And it just takes, it's like Tur Shale or something, for a Crescent Moon, like crystal sword.
It's 20 or 25 pierce. I mean, that's still a lot.
Yeah, well, that right off the bat, coming off of enemy lightning res, so that obviously would help out killing any of the monsters with the lightning. But then also you're breaking the lightning immunes and pulling them down more with just the cost of an rune right there. Like Griffins is so incredibly rare, which I'm once again finding out because I'm on single player trying to pull one, and of course you can't get it. You just get Mavina's diadems over and over again.
I think I found one once, and it wasn't even fair because it was in Path of Diablo, I think is what it was.
Okay.
So it had technically Gears 8 drops or something like that. And it
Uh,
was ethereal, so that really sucked. But I still kind of counted it as a win. You know, I did find a Griffins, but yeah, it was kind of cheating. It was in a mod, and it was high player count. But
yeah. Yeah, that's what I found a couple of them back on Project Diablo 2, like back to back days. like,
oh,
but
really? Oh, nice.
yeah, but it's the same
I
deal. Like I kind of always preface it whenever I tell anybody, bring up the story or something, because it's, I think at the
yeah.
time it was players 3 drops on players 1 all the time. Now I think
Still,
it's players 5 drops now, I think, on Project Diablo 2, if I remember hearing correctly.
that's
But
my memory.
I found one. I did have a Griffins, or I have on old Diablo 2. I found a Griffins on single player. That was a pretty legendary day. But yeah, I need to pull one of those on single player D2R here one day
Oh,
for sure.
good luck. Maybe it's right around the corner.
Oh, for sure, it better be. I found, and that's another. I can't remember. It was over like maybe a week. I found 3 Mavina's diadems.
Oh, wow.
Doing runs, and I was just like,
Oh, man, you've been busting your tail. That's impressive.
well, it was.
And I've probably only found a couple of those in my time.
I mean, yeah, it was definitely just like luck. It was like spider cavern. I was running with like fire traps in or something. I don't even remember what I was doing. Maybe that was I don't remember. But yeah, it was over the course of a week. Found like 3 of those, which is, you know, just a punch in the gut when you're hoping to get a Griffins. You know.
Yeah, that sucks.
So
Well, it was interesting how you made the point about these new changes and how they might affect Endgame. Is your thoughts that at the least this is going to make Endgame just easier?
oh yeah. I think this is gonna make Endgame like a lot easier. Obviously, like before you'd be in terror zones and you're obviously running into immunities and stuff, and it made it super annoying. I mean, it was one of the reasons that I didn't like terror zones, but there's a few different reasons. Um, but yeah, I mean, everybody will be able to break all immunities, so immunities will never be a problem. Like after, especially if they're as common as, you know, if they're common at all, like everyone's gonna have one within no time, you know, a few weeks.
Mm. So your primary issues with the terror zones, what would you say they are?
I don't like that they're telling me where I'm supposed to farm at. Like they're telling me
Point.
this hour you have to go here. Well, I don't want to, you know?
Yeah.
So that was kind of always the thing with one of the things with Diablo 2. You know, you could sit right down, decide where you wanted to go. You click start, you click hell difficulty, you go into the game, you go to the waypoint, and you go to the place where you want to go, you know, instantly. Within 15 seconds of clicking the icon, you're doing what you want to do. Now, it's like literally for the PTR, I'm going online. I'm like, oh, please don't be a shitty spot. Please don't be a shitty spot. Please, please, please. And I go on. I'm like, oh, frick. Like
Oh.
it's some place, you know, it's, I don't know, like the whole way going down to Mephisto or something where there's just like some zombies and there's terrorized dolls charging you all the time. And you're just like, oh my, like everything's spread out. The map's huge, but there's like, I don't know. And obviously you get a good reward at the bottom, I guess, Mephisto and the council and stuff, but like I guess you could just run Mephisto like normal, terrorize Mephisto over and over again. But yeah, I hate that going online, like dreading playing the game. Like, am I gonna have to play this game in this spot that they're making me play that I don't want to do? Like, am I really gonna have to do this? Because that's gonna
Good
be,
point.
and you could go do, yeah, I could go run the pits again or whatever, but that's not
You're gonna feel like you're missing out.
well, it's like it's not the point of this. Yeah, well, you would hypothetically. I'm not a big like love leveling, but you're literally going to be falling behind
Oh.
if those areas have higher monster levels. Because if you're running the pits or something, the champions are TC can drop TC 87 uniques. But if you're level 94 and they're like 2 levels higher than you, then just the regular monsters can drop TC at 87 uniques because they're going to be like level 90. If you're 95, they're going to be 97, the regular monsters in the area. So every single monster in the whole area could drop the best uniques in the game.
What if, say, you get to 99? Is there any reason to keep farming the terror zones at 99 over, say, the pit or the chaos sanctuary?
Uh,
Except for the fact that these charms aren't going to fall. But I think everyone's going to have the damn charms.
yeah, I
Our
think so
statues are going
too.
to be just filled with them. Is there any reason as to why, like, you can have a higher chance of dropping materials might, not that anyone needs it because it kind of sucks, unfortunately, but
Yeah, you just
things
mean
like
like rare uniques. Yeah, you're getting at
rare
D-Web,
uniques and
Griffins. It
yeah,
should
would they be more common?
they should be more common because um and the drop odds, I don't know if you ever looked at like Silas Spin's drop odds calculator and stuff, but so, and it doesn't apply 1-to-1 because I'm not really sure because you can't look at like the odds of dropping Mang songs from like a monster that's not high enough level now to
All
drop it.
right,
But
it'll show like the best place to get a certain item.
yeah, but if you look at like
They're like the earliest.
if you look at lower items like Shaco, if you look it up, like a champion, some zombie champion has like a 1 in 20,000 chance of dropping a Shaco. But if you look at the regular monster, they could probably drop it too, but it's like 1 in 280,000,
Right.
like some way high. I think it's going to end up being similar to that, where like Griffins, usually you could only get it from the 87 monsters, which in level 85 areas, the normal monster is only 85. So you can't get a
Oh yeah,
Griffins
that's a great
off
point.
of a regular zombie. But in the terror zones, you could get off of, it'll be a much lower percentage, but your group, every single monster you kill will have a small chance. And when you multiply that out, you killed 50,000 of these little monsters, even if it's 1 in a million chance. Normally you only kill like 8 champions in the pits, 8, or I think it's a max of 9 or is it up to 12 in the pits? I don't remember. But if you run a terrorized pits, even if it's 1 in 5 million chance from an individual monster, you're killing 100 or 200 monsters. So then you multiply that out, you actually have all the chance from the normal champions and those chances from all the other monsters. So I would think it's going to be, a way higher chance. Like there's going to be way more Griffins, way more D-Webs faster and stuff like that, I think. Unless
I think you've answered my question. That's crazy because that sucks. Because
I could
really is always going to be better to farm the terror zones if that's the case.
I could be wrong. There's obviously a lot of things that are questions unanswered if that's really how it would be, because usually I did see I do have a clip of a Crown of Ages dropping off of a regular monster. It was in the Stony Tombs, but you could see clear as day it just dropped off of a regular monster.
Oh wow!
So
in a terror zone.
Yeah, when the Stony Tombs was terrorized. So like it definitely can happen, but I don't know the way that the odds will work, because like I said, usually you can't look up the odds for that because it never existed before. So like I couldn't go on Silas Spin's drop odds calculator and look that up.
The trash mobs in the terror zones, after you get to like after your character is level 88 or so, or wait,
If you're
terror
85,
zones are always 5.
yeah.
Always 5 more.
Oh, are they 5? Okay. So
Is
if
that
you,
what it is?
I thought it was 2 higher than your level. The regular monsters
Yeah,
are.
you're probably right. I mean, I'm quite sure you know this better than I do. So
Well, hold on a second.
so,
But I thought
the white trash mobs will be able to drop that stuff in the terror zones.
I think from the time you're level 85 and up, every single monster could drop every single item. But I could be wrong there, but I think that's what it was, that the regular monsters are 2 level higher than you, up to a maximum of 97.
Okay.
I think. But I'd have to double check it.
Get to 99.
Can they go all out?
Terror zones. I thought it was 99 in terror zones. The monsters could get.
I'd have to double check and look that up, which not at this exact moment, but either way, there's going to be a certain point where you're going to be at a level that's much lower than, you're not going to have to be level 95 for every monster to drop every item. Like they're going to be a high enough monster level way lower to drop, everything.
That's a valid concern.
Well, yeah, if the number of Griffins and the number of D-Webs found, like if they're found 6 times faster. I mean, the thing is too, if everyone maxes out their characters, everyone's going to stop playing that much faster. Because like, why? Like if I'm to 99 and I have Griffins and I got this and that and blah, 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 you have everything you need. Why would you, are you really going to keep playing? I guess if you jump over to PvP, but if you max out,
such a small percentage of the player base does that.
Yeah, for sure. Most people are going, well, I have everything. What am I going to find now?
That was my concern. Is this going to be too easy to get to 99? Because what I did like I always thought it was alluring how, say, I got a character to 93, and I thought that was such an accomplishment. was a sort of was a crowning achievement to be in the 94, 95, 96. It was just so epic. But now I'm just concerned it's going to be too easy to get there. But that is interesting how these terror zones, they might be the places where we're just going to always have to farm because we're just going to be simply missing out for not farming there in terms of experience and in terms of drops. So that could be a bit concerning. What do you think? Do you have any ideas of what should be changed, or do you just would you rather just them not be there and the game remain the same?
Oh, if it was like Sweet Phil, king of Vicarious Visions, to make the changes,
Hell yeah!
I would. Well, here's what I would do. This is my everything Sweet Phil would change. I would go. I don't know which one would be better, but like gem or rune stacking or currency tab or something along those lines. Add that
Good, I'm
in.
glad you like that.
Loot filter, whether it's customizable or not. Something loot filter wise, because I know you probably a few days ago I posted a video about a cham dropped in single player for me in cows, and I literally killed this whole pack of cows. I'm looking around, and I was like, all right, and I took off to run, and then a flash of orange. And I was like, oh my gosh.
God.
Yeah, if I would have turned left, I would have never seen it. But because I turned right, the item shifted. I turned right and went kind of down. And then when I went down, I could see it. If I would have went up to the left, Chamroon would have never seen it. So
I'm glad that happened to you because that is a shining example of why that needs to be changed because that's just messed up.
yeah, could you
and
imagine?
It's good that you have that on video, and hopefully that video gets a ton of freaking views because they need to see this crap. It's not right that we can drop a damn rune and the screen is too cluttered with items that we could just simply not see the rune. All the bots can see the runes. Why can't we? You know?
Yeah, I don't need any more thawing
crap.
potions. I don't need any more cracked curists or whatever. I don't need,
Oh gosh, it's horrible. I mean, this is the stuff that everyone's been wanting for the longest time. It seems to me they wanted a loot filter. We want a current. I know some of them are debatable. A loot filter, a currency tab. I think we need more stash space. I think we need at least twice the stash space.
I
But
would be cool with that too.
I know there's some who think there's reason why we shouldn't. It's going to saturate the market and everything else. But in general, I think it'll just overall be better experience to have more stash space. I mean, I think it should be more than double, but I'm just saying at the least, I think they should give us double stash.
Yeah,
That is kind of odd to me how they didn't really approach any of those what some might consider problems or quality of life wishes. Rather, they do this stuff, which less people I think were asking for.
Yeah, I'm not really. I thought the same thing, and I'm not really sure what to even think or to say about it because, I mean, the currency tab or rune stacking or whatever, I feel like everybody wants that, and the only thing that not having that does, it's not like people aren't saving up runes and stuff. You just have 5 different rune mules now. Like, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I constantly have to send items over, send them onto this character. And it's just
ridiculous.
What it does is it keeps people doing things on the game that they don't want to do. And I feel like they would want people to do things that they do want to do on the game. Like, don't people usually play longer when they're enjoying themselves? Not when they're like, man, my wrist hurts from going like this, back and forth, sliding these items over, or you can quick send some stuff now, but it's like Tetrising these things around and like, oh, where did I put a rune on this character? Oh man, like rune, it must be on rune 3 mule. Ugh, God.
That's a great point. Because I've had numerous comments on my videos where someone claims that they ran out of character slots because they have so many mules.
Yeah.
And this is now in the remastered version of Diablo 2, where we were supposed to have, some enhancements, like an enhanced stash. It's just odd to me how modders can do it. We have this in PD2 and POD. They have a pretty freaking massive stash.
Yeah,
some would argue it's too big.
A couple of bros in their apartment can put it together, but like
exactly, it's just odd to me. What the heck? Why can't we get it here in D2R?
Yeah, I always kind of wondered that too. There's got to be some reason that they're against it.
I don't
Because
know if there is.
I feel like
They
it's the
might just
most
be out of touch.
I feel like it's the most universally wanted thing,
Oh,
and who could be against it? I don't know what. And
that's
that's
a great question.
most of the changes that I want are things like that, things that don't actually change the game. Like it doesn't change how you play it. It just eliminates boring stuff. You know,
Oh, that's a great point.
like who really wants to, like, you're looking at the screen like, oh, okay, antidote, no, get rid of that. Like let's run over here. Let me pick up this gold so I can see if I'm missing a burr rune or not. It's like,
That's pathetic.
and that's literally a way that, like, if
Unacceptable.
they want to make the game easier, like with what they're doing, like how many people do you think had the rune drop, but they did turn left? You know what I
Oh,
mean?
too
Like
many, man.
like
I don't even want to think of how many runes I lost.
I
You
know,
know,
right?
it
It's
sucks.
crazy.
I mean, yeah, I've probably missed out, man. I busted my ass. Like I said, I did actually make an infinity at one point in my life. It was amazing. It was like 10, 12 years ago. It was such an experience, but I probably could have made it far sooner. I could have enhanced my character even more so
Maybe.
had
Yeah,
I
maybe.
not missed who knows how many runes because we don't have a loot filter.
Yeah, it could have happened for sure. Yeah, maybe.
I know it's happened. It's happened to us all, and it's bullshit.
Oh man.
uh,
Right, right. Alrighty, so
just kidding. I was being dramatic.
moving on. Oh, I love it. I love it. So moving on from all the things that we wish were in Diablo 2, what are your thoughts on Diablo 4? Just real short for me, I'm like cautiously optimistic, but also since I haven't played another game in like years, so it's going to be a tough transition, especially with like being strictly Diablo 2 channel, and that's like what I do full time now. Uh,
It might be an easy transition if it's a good game. I wonder how, because you
it,
know how you always have to post the same stuff on YouTube. The content creators in general, they're always supposed to post the same stuff. I wonder if it will be an easy transition if, say, a Diablo 2 YouTuber wants to make Diablo 4 videos, if
oh,
Diablo 4 gains a lot of attention.
yeah, YouTube wise, I think it might not, it might be okay right at the start. It'll be fine, I'm sure. If Diablo 2 Resurrected tells me literally anything, someone could have just, you could literally upload a video that was like just a static picture of a llama for 8 minutes, and if the name of the video was Diablo 2 Resurrected, anything with Diablo 2 Resurrected, the person got like 30,000 views right when Diablo 2 Resurrected came out. Like,
Gosh, I should have jumped on that, man. Where the hell was Ice Boy?
if it just, there's so many people I had seen that just like, just any video, it just doesn't matter. Like, it was pretty crazy when Diablo 2 Resurrected first came out. And if Diablo 4 is anything like that, yeah, it'll be easy sledding. Even with Elden Ring, I seen the same thing because I was looking into it because everyone was so hyped about it, and I was looking in, and I found this one. I don't know anything about the person. I don't know how they're doing now or whatever, but I found this one channel. It was daily Elden Ring update, and every day they'd be like, let's say there was a day when something came out, like a dev said something, they would talk about it, make a 3, 5, 8, 10 minute video, whatever. If there was no Elden Ring news, they would literally make a 30-second video and say, today is June 2nd, 2020, or whatever, 2021, I don't remember, 2021. There was no Elden Ring news today. Nothing came out from Twitter, nothing came out from this. Goodbye.
That was what the video was about. How
Yeah,
there was
and
no news.
it would be like 14 straight videos like that in a row, and
Oh,
they would have like 40,000 views apiece. And I'm
I
like,
hate how that works.
I'm like,
That's
oh
I
my
can't stand
god.
the algorithm antics. So this is before the game was even released.
Oh yeah, this was like a year leading up to Elden
All right.
Ring when it
That's what you were
released.
referring to with D2R as well. Is before it was released, they post an image of whatever and it gets a ton of views.
Well,
It's before the release.
not for D2R. It wasn't so much before. It was like right when it launched. Like,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
it,
it was
and I mean, I was
a lot.
exaggerating about the picture of a llama thing, but like it just seemed
Right.
like any video that anyone put out, like regardless, like even myself, like any video I put out, it would be like minimum 40,000 views for a long time.
Say that you do really enjoy Diablo 4. Do you feel like you would prefer to kind of transition your channel over to more D4 videos?
Would I
For like,
prefer it, huh? I would say right now it's impossible to say. You know, it
because I can't play it.
yeah, I don't know if you know, that's the most nerve-wracking thing I would say right now, because I like, especially with Diablo 3, like I pre-ordered Diablo 3, it came out. What a disaster. What an absolute disaster that was. And I know I've heard after Reaper of Souls it's been a lot better. People think it's a lot funner, a lot better game and everything like that. But I don't know if people realize, I don't know if you played it when it first launched, but I was so hyped when it came out, pre-ordered it, popped the disc in my laptop, downloaded it. Oh wait, there's literally no single player. You have to be online on the servers to
Oh
play.
yeah,
Oh
I'm
wait,
doing that with D4 as well.
the servers are down. I can't
Oh
play.
yeah,
Cool.
that's right.
The next
I
day,
do remember that.
servers are down. The next day, servers are down. The servers were down for over a week, and nobody could play for a full week when the game launched.
Oh my God, I don't know if I can remember this, but I
Well,
know I
I
wasn't
remember it
playing.
because I just dropping $60. Like, oh my gosh!
I was
Like,
playing the beta.
do you know how many? Do you know how
So
many pop bottles I had to take back to buy Diablo 3? I wasn't even that young. I was like in my. I would have been 20.
yeah.
Still poor, still broke, still cheap. But yeah, that scarred me forever. And then it was like playing the game. It was just so much different than Diablo 2. Um, and after like a month, I was like, you know what? I bought this game, but I'm like done. Like I'm going back to Diablo 2. And I'll never forget. I jump back on Diablo 2 and I look at like, you know, there's like the game menu on the one side, and then there's the chat over on the other side, just like the public chat, and it's just full of people like, that game was terrible. I'm so happy to be back to Diablo 2. Oh my, and just like
Nice.
person after person after person. And it was I was like, wow, this was the best choice ever made coming back to Diablo 2, like not sticking with Diablo 3. So I'm
Oh, that's
hoping
amazing.
there's no way Diablo 4 could be that bad. I couldn't imagine. Um and this is, and for anyone who's watching this later, or if I upload clips and stuff, which I'm sure I will, that's my initial reaction, or my initial when it came out. I played it for about a month when it first launched, and then I never played it again. Now, you know, it was too, man, when it was the auction house and everything, and between the servers and stuff, it was just I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, you bailed a lot sooner than I did. I didn't realize that people were going back to Diablo 2 so early because I was playing Diablo 2 up until the D3 beta, I believe, and I think I was kidding myself that it was a great game for a little while, for probably a long while. I think I had about 800 hours put into the game. I can't remember how far in,
Okay, that's a solid
but
amount. Yeah.
I did play a lot, and the I actually almost found the Inferno difficulty somewhat appealing. How it was so damn impossible. I was stuck in Act Two, getting my ass kicked as a demon hunter, and I was like, "Huh, this is." Buddy was like, "This is fun." Like you said it sarcastically, I think, but it was a challenge, man. You know, it was a challenge, and then, but of course, there were some uh, exploit builds that you could make, but I did invest a lot of time into it. But then after enough time passed, I started to after the Inferno went away, or then they added all the difficulties and those they did all sorts of crap to it, as you know. I don't need to get into it. Yeah, I started to really despise the game, and I don't have much interest ever going back to it. Once in a while, like over the past year or two, I played for like a week because I thought, it's kind of fun getting to 70 or getting the first set. Yeah, beyond that, Diablo 3, I think is a massive disappointment. But I think that it is interesting though what they're doing with Diablo 4, and I know you're saying you're being kind of cautious about it and being hopeful. I'm probably overly optimistic. I think I have reasons as to why I think game potentially is going to be a lot better than Diablo 3. And I don't know, I'm being optimistic, you know, but I have my reasons. I think that there's a good chance it's going to be a great game. That's all.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I mean, right now it's all just like, you know, we don't have a whole ton besides. the few snippets we've seen. So yeah, it's really hard to nobody could say like, no, I'm pointing to this right here and this game's gonna bleep and blow. Like, so you kind of just got to go on like your gut feeling is what I feel like anyways with the game. And I feel like Diablo 3 almost makes Diablo 4 more likely to be good. You know what I mean?
I think you're right too, and they have PoE 2 to compete with. So I think that
Right.
Blizzard
And Diablo Immortal.
knows. Right.
Or Diablo Immortal making them for sure not go crazy on monetization
Oh yeah, that was
for
probably good. The
for
backlash it
D4.
received, but I think that Blizzard knows that this might be their last chance at redemption. Diablo 4, because they've messed up knows how many times over the past several years, and now they actually have a big competitor that's at stake. My understanding when D3 came out, there weren't any big competitors like that, like what Grinding Gear Games is doing. PoE has become quite a thing now. It's quite involved. There's a lot of depth to it. I think that Blizzard knows that they're going to lose out on a lot if they just go cheap on this. And there's several reasons. I think that Paragon is much different than what it is in Diablo 3. It's not just 5 points every level. There's tons of customization. The nodes that PoE has, I think. Have you played PoE?
I actually have not. I was actually going to say that's probably the game that has been most like requested or at, hey Phil, how do you like playing PoE? Like, what's your opinion on it? And I'm like, haven't touched it, you know. So, but yeah, everybody asked me about that game and like says you should really play this, you know. So,
but yeah, the Paragon, how it's far different than what it was in Diablo 3. It's not just 5 stats every single level. We have things to look forward to now, apparently. All sorts of customization, unique glimpse, rare glimpse that you can select as you level. And then you have these boards that you can shift. Like you finally get to the board and you can shift it how you want. Then once you start entering that board, it stays put. So there's like boards that expand from boards, and it's just so much customization that I'm thinking there's a lot of potential in that. And they're saying that the items aren't going to be raining from the sky like they were in Diablo 3. I think the mythic items are a great idea. In fact, mythic items might be something they probably get a lot of shit for bringing this up, but it might be something they might want to try with D2R.
oh,
If they're already going to these lengths anyway. Because
well, I'm not even sure. I thought was it in D4? I thought mythic items were just essentially like the unique items.
to my understanding, they're a higher tier of unique items. And what they do, say you get a mythic Shaco, right? Like in D2. Shaco would have a far rarer chance of dropping than a regular Shaco, Harlequin Crest. And the mythic item can roll a random unique mod from another unique in the game. So you could have like 40% mana that you get from Frostburns rolled onto your Shaco. Or you could get amp damage on hit from Atma's Amulet rolled onto your Shaco. So it adds so much. Oh man, but the mythics and what's cool about it is, the item chase in D2, like once you find a Shaco, you're good. But with the mythics, you're going to want to find the Shaco with whatever mod you want from whatever crazy random unique. Like you want it to cast like amp damage like Lacerator Atma's Amulet so that you can have it on your Frenzy Barbarian, although you wouldn't. Maybe an Ariats where you can cast, you want it. So it like all of a sudden you don't just have to find one Shaco. You have to find like hundreds to finally get the one that you really, really want. So the item chase is just crazy.
Yeah, I kind of get
That's
that.
what they're doing with Mythics.
It's almost similar to like slamming items in PD2, right?
It's similar to slamming.
Where it's like, oh, here's a chance cards, throw them out, chance cards, throw them out, chance cards, throw them out. But like when you could slam stuff in Project Diablo 2, it's one of the things I kind of liked about it. You would find some Frostburns or something, like you said. You're like, oh, could I slam this and get FCR on it? Because then it's crazy, 40% to mana, and then you get FCR like Mage Fist have, and you slam it like, nope, slam it, nope, slam it, nope.
I loved slamming items. I thought that added so much to it, and it was just because it gave a lot of the toss to the side uniques some emphasis,
Yeah.
and it gave them potential, which is why I just loved the slamming of items concept. Yeah, it is similar to that with the mythic items. But that's just another reason as to why I'm looking forward to D4, because I think the mythic items are a great idea. I think the Paragon boards are a great idea with how they're looking so far. And your weapon damage isn't based, or your character's damage isn't based on weapon damage like it was in D3. At least for spellcasters, it isn't, because the as you level up your skills, they'll do more damage. So they're going back to Diablo 2 with how the skills work, it seems.
Okay.
So
I guess I
so
didn't.
with those,
I was gonna say
those are some
I guess I
factors.
didn't know that in Diablo 3 the casters, or I forgot. I played it. This was, I don't even remember how long ago D3 came out, but I didn't realize that the caster damage was based upon the weapon.
Oh yeah, it sucked. That's all that mattered, was you just needed a really high damage weapon. And of course, you didn't level up your skills. You just had access to all the skills once you quickly maxed out in your level. And so there was no customization in your skills or their damage through the character setup anyway. And yeah, it was all based on weapon DPS. So that I thought was a major cheap out. And that's what they did. They went cheap with it.
Mm,
And with D4, I like what they're doing with the hitbox, whatever you call it, where the like in a multi-shot in D2, each arrow has its own little hitbox, where each little arrow has meaning. Like you can control your spread of arrows.
Okay, yeah.
And with D3, they did away with that. You just shot like some triangle on the screen, and it just, if the enemies were in the triangle, they got hit. If they weren't in the triangle, they didn't get hit. And then they just put a bunch of arrows over it so it looked like it was from the arrows. But with D4, they're
Oh,
really working with the hitboxes, where like your character is swinging their sword around, and it actually is like what do you call that? Is it like, can't think of the terminology, but the hitbox follows the weapon. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So you
Like
can
the
like
hitbox is
swing your
actually in the path of the sword. Like if you're making
straight on the
contact
sword.
with the person, with the
Yeah.
monster, the whatever.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're really talking it up with how they showcased it. So it seemed to factor in how long the weapon was. So instead of melee splash, it's like you're really slicing your weapon through several enemies at once, and it's all visual. So they really talked that up. But from what I've seen in the videos that they put out, I just feel like there might be a lot of potential in that. It's just going to feel really immersive, the combat.
All right, you're getting me a little excited here, Iceman. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, really?
You're
Well,
getting
there's
me
more to it,
more
man.
you're getting me more optimistic. You're getting me more
And
optimistic.
character customization I really like as well. How we can build our character visually just how we want them, as long as, I mean, I'm hoping they don't give us some bullshit restrictions. Hopefully they do actually let us create the character that we want, like they're acting like they're going to. So
What
we're
kind
gonna
of
have,
restriction you thinking when you
well, I
say
don't
that?
know. I mean, it seems like it's going to be quite open from what I've seen.
Yeah, yeah,
Like we can
that's
make
the
we
idea
can
I
make
got too.
more
Yeah.
macho characters. We can make more feminine characters and things like that. So I'm hoping that it really stays open in that regard. Um, yeah, with those are just some of the reasons why I think it's looking a lot different than Diablo 3, except for the fact that apparently you still have a skill belt where you can have about 6 skills active at once. So that I have a bit of a concern there, because the cool thing about D2 is you can hotkey so many skills. I mean, but how many skills do you think you generally use with your
Oh
characters?
yeah, if there's a character that has more than I always take two for battle orders, battle commands. If there's any more than 6 skills beyond that, I don't play the character pretty much. I'm gonna
Oh,
be honest.
really?
I can't
Well, in that
I
case,
can't
that's
stand
good
like
news.
playing a piano when you're up here, like
But
Mozart's Final Symphony. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Like I ain't
I can
slamming my
understand
hands all
that.
over the place.
I liked, like, sometimes if you made an obscure sorceress build where like you'd have a thunderstorm even though it was barely doing shit, but you just add it anyway. And then you'd have a chilling armor, then you'd have battle orders, you'd have shout, you'd have whatever the one is that gives you plus skills. Battle command, is that what it is?
Battle commands and
You're
battle orders
starting to
give you
get
the
up
health.
there with the skills. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know if that's all there is to it. Are we really just going to have 6 skills at our disposal? or there are going to be separate little slots for things like auras, like active slots that can always. So then technically we might be having more than just 6 skills at once. That's really one of my uh, concerns that I'm having right now. But even with that being said, game like Path of Exile, I'll have to go and because I haven't played that game in a long time. I feel like you were actually quite limited with your attack skills anyway in there as well. It might have been the same. And PoE is a very in-depth game with a lot of endgame, as far as I know.
Yeah.
It seems like you can really get down to the nitty-gritty in PoE in terms of customization. So yeah, I mean, I'm thinking that they know that they have to compete with an emerging company that potentially could take the hill. You know what I mean? I think that they know that that should be a valid concern. That a game like PoE could be the top-notch action RPG.
Yeah, they're like on alert, and they're well aware that they're like could be chopped down at any moment type of thing. Even though they got bought by Microsoft or whatever, and they're Blizzard, but you know that doesn't really matter nowadays.
Yeah, with all that being said, I think those are the reasons why I think D4. I don't think I have optimism without good reason. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I feel like there's a good chance that this is going to be a good game, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I hope I get the damn beta.
Oh, get into the closed beta thing or whatever. Yeah, I'm not sure. I was gonna apply for it, but I'm almost not even sure like if I can take the time to do it. You know what I mean? Like I guess if I apply for it and I get it, I don't necessarily have to do it a lot because it's gonna be. I'm assuming you read the post and watched the video or whatever, to where it's you're gonna be under NDA, like you can't talk about it. So obviously.
Oh really?
Oh,
I didn't watch that. Okay,
did you not see that? Okay, yeah,
I'm kind of ignorant. I haven't been keeping up in the last couple days.
Yeah, they just posted a video today, and a blog post about it. That yeah,
so we're not gonna be able to make videos on it.
Yeah, no, if you're gonna be under NDA,
okay, then I'm not gonna play it that much. I'd play it some.
You can't talk about it or nothing. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'll apply for it, and then I'm
gonna apply for it,
and then I'll decide from there. Like, what are they gonna sue me for not playing it if I apply for it and they accept me or something? But no,
yeah, you can get.
Knowing me, like,
get in trouble
for Diablo 2 Resurrected, like they didn't even. I got a Diablo 2 channel and everything, and they didn't. No one even got a hold of me for Diablo 2 Resurrected closed beta. So it's like
maybe next time, man. Maybe you're right around the corner. They're probably eyeing you.
Well, yeah,
probably watching that.
They probably are this bleeping bleep. Look at him. He hates everything we do. Everything we do, he hates it. He doesn't want us to do nothing.
I think that's great that you're honest with your concerns for D2R. Because I haven't really been watching too many Diablo videos as of lately, like the content creators and all that. So I kind of came into this. I think I clicked on your videos a couple times over the past few weeks. I think it was kind of intriguing to me to not really know what your stance was when we came in here and did this, but I think that's a great thing that, that you're willing to be honest about your concerns.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are, especially the weathered, the seasoned, the hardcore player base. A lot of them are concerned with the terror zones and the Sunder charms.
Yeah,
what the heck? Why aren't they giving us a damn loot filter and things like that?
Yeah, I feel like for most people, the whole idea of like the loot filter and all that stuff, and extra stash tabs and all that kind of stuff, I feel like that's all just felt there. People have just like, you know what, we know that's not going to happen. We're not gonna worry about it. Or maybe there's just other news out, so they're not talking about it or whatever. Obviously, a forum like this, when you're doing a podcast type thing, I feel like I can get my opinion out a little bit better, even if it's a little more stammering and not perfectly written out. Sometimes in videos, trying to get it short enough to have it not be a terrifying video length is kind of a little bit of a problem, because to fully explain everything, and sometimes you'll make a video and I'll just be like, I'll say my opinion. I was like, oh shoot, that sounded like I just said that as if it was fact, and I didn't say, like, it wasn't obvious that I was saying that was my opinion, that this was how I thought it was going to be. Like, it sounded like I said that as a fact, this and that. So that's what sometimes on the opinions on those videos. Um, I do like talking about things in more words, not the whole like text message culture, like as short as possible, quick TikTok video short. And I feel like for YouTube videos, sometimes you got to do that. So I'm trying to talk quickly and condense things, and I feel like things don't always come out as fully the way I want it to. But yeah, for the terror zones, I feel like I know I'm so much in the minority on those things. Every time I do a poll about anything changing or anything, add this, add that, it's always like my opinion on like terror zones, the Sunday charms. Sunday charms. See, we're bringing it. We're making it happen. Sunday charms.
Speaking it into existence.
Right. I'm always like, for those things, it's like I'm always in the 10, 12, 15% category. Like everybody wants things to change for D2R, but it's it's I'm not gonna go too crazy till we'll get a season. See, I'll get a whole season under the belt before I'll like go crazy about it. But
Would you not change much for Endgame D2R if you had the opportunity? Would you not add like a mapping system or have like a new difficulty where everything is level 85 plus or whatever?
see, I thought about that with the whole 99 race, because obviously that's kind of like the whole when Diablo 2 came out, there wasn't a whole lot of thought process going into like the seasons, like what was going to be the goal, and so it's like race to 99. That's what they came up with. That's what they're doing or whatever. And I thought about that with having a different difficulty, like the exact same game, different difficulty. The monsters are stronger. What I was thinking was like more monsters like fully immune, like instead of, and obviously this would be a terrible, terrible, terrible thing that nobody would want. But I thought that like make a harder difficulty with more immunities, but like you got way more experience. Not necessarily more drops. Like maybe have the drops be exactly the same, but have more experience and have it be harder. So like once you get your character decked out, you can go do this harder difficulty, and you could level up and race to 99 faster. So it's getting more experience for that 99 race for the ladder, but it wouldn't like saturate the market with a bunch of griffins and D-webs and burr runes
Oh
and
yeah.
jaws and zods or whatever. So it would just be a difficulty. Like I said, you wouldn't find nothing there. You'd still be finding stuff just as you would before, but it would be way better experience, and it would be harder. That was kind of my thought. I never made a video or nothing about it, but that was like my favorite thought of if you actually made a change to the gameplay of Diablo 2.
Would that require a group potentially? If you're saying more immunes, like maybe you need
Well,
a homie or two to be there with you.
I would say yeah, not necessarily required, because you can. I wouldn't usually. I would never recommend to like dual spec nowadays. I always recommend to farm places that decide your full plan before you get going, so you know where you're going to end up farming, you know what I mean, and just go into one spec, slaughter absolutely mercilessly with that spec, in the areas that it's good at. But if you did do these harder difficulties, they might be a little bit slower, but the experience gain would have to be worth it. Plus, it would like you said, incentivize. You would have, a Hammerden. You would have to have a sorceress. You'd have a necromancer to like lower res stuff to knock out the resistances. You would need, you would have
I think that
to,
would be awesome.
and it's to where it would almost require party play,
I
not,
think PD2 did that.
yeah, not to where,
Really not trying to shout them out too much, but it's just I think that they did a dungeon sort of concept, which is where I kind of pulled that from. Is I think they did something where there's more immunes and it requires you to have more players in your party or whatnot.
okay,
It just seems like just briefly considering it, it seems like it could be a good route.
yeah,
Attempt.
not so much how they decided to do it with, hey, we'll add this Sunder charm so that people can play by themselves more, so they don't need any help.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah,
almost
that's
seems like the
true.
Sunder charm is like the exact opposite of what they should have done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it really does render it essential in almost all situations that you just don't really need that partner as much. Yeah, I kind of felt similarly that maybe some challenging content would be fun in Diablo 2.
Yeah, but then
Beyond,
it does. I'm not gonna disregard. You know, like there's a lot of more casual people too, to where the game, and this is even when I was making my comment before, I almost wasn't thinking about them, but then I got to keep reminding myself there are a lot of people that Diablo 2 is a very, very hard game for them, you know, people that don't know, um, or that just don't have, they don't know that you could just shop a particular wand and crack any immunity in the game, you know, like from a car in Act 1, like they don't know
they
that.
like start out as a barbarian or something.
Yeah. That there's so many people that do struggle with the game because if you, it's like it's super easy and basic to know the stuff about Diablo 2, but if you don't know the basic information about Diablo 2, the game is kind of difficult. It kind
I
of
think that's
is.
true. You'll hit walls. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like it would almost be fun to attempt that again because I remember way back when I first played it, it was kind of a similar sort of thing going on where you hit a wall and you'd realize you have to respec. And I think way back in the day, you couldn't even respec at
Oh
all.
no, yeah,
So
you
you were
you
screwed.
couldn't. I had a yeah, that's what I remember. I had an Amazon, a Necromancer, and a Barbarian back in the day, and I remember like I was trying to run Nightmare Mephisto over and over again with my Necromancer shooting bone spirits because I thought like that skill's at the bottom. That means it's the best,
Oh yeah,
right?
I know. Yeah, the bottom ones always seemed like they must be the best, but that certainly wasn't always the case. Yeah, and Bone Spirit kind of sucked
No, it
back then,
wasn't.
didn't
I
it?
was running Nightmare Mephisto. I had like whatever bow that is, or there's a crossbow that has two to Necromancer skills. So
Oh
I
yeah, the green one.
yeah, I had that on my Necromancer because two to skills. This is great, you know. Like
Yeah.
I do remember that and being like, wow, I need to start over again because all these characters suck.
Yeah,
Like
no respecking. That was freaking hardcore. I remember
yeah,
getting my ass kicked outside of town, and there was a saying that the PKers would say was like, remake, please, or rebuild, please. No, it said remake your character, please, because you really had to just start over again.
yeah.
And that really, yeah, you'd feel like shit when that was told to you. That was from my perspective anyway. Because you really did have to start over, you know? Like you
Yeah,
get your
yeah.
ass kicked and be like, wow, I
At
just
least you
suck.
could rush
Can't go
way
back.
faster back then though. You could get rushed way faster.
It's like or like enchant sorceresses and things like that.
Well, just because like you didn't have to level to get past the ancients back then.
Oh
Like
yeah, that was
you
pre.
could
Okay, that was
I
pre Act
remember
Five.
I remember going into hell cows and I was like level 3.
Oh yeah,
And you would just step inside the portal and it'd be like tung 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 ping and you'd level up tung 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 ping and you'd level up and you'd go up
that's a
like
good point.
25 levels in one cow game because it was so
Yeah.
much experience. And then after I kind of like got to know some people and got a little bit better at the game, that's the thing too. Like people would be like, "Have you ever gotten a 99 on Diablo 2?" I was like, "I mean, yeah, I've had dozens of them. Like not dozens, but like I've had several of them, but back in the
Oh
day,
really?
it wasn't a
And
big
you must have
deal."
went hard. It wasn't that hard in classic.
I don't know about well, it wasn't pre, it was before Enigma and all that stuff, but it wasn't
It was an LOD though.
it
You're
wasn't
referring to.
it was in LOD but like after the
Okay.
expansion, but it was
Damn,
before
dude, you got to
Enigma.
99 a couple times.
I had like 5 characters at once. Like it was
You were freaking hardcore, man.
you would go into cows and you just have a boas on, shunk shunk, everything would drop dead. One multi shot, everything dropped
The
dead.
wind force boson, is that right?
I didn't have a win force. It didn't matter what, because if
1.09.
you had like 4 hex chimes or something, I don't know if you remember hex chimes.
Oh, well, I thought those were hacked.
Well, hey, don't tell Blizzard anything about this, all
No
right?
wonder why you got to 99.
Hey,
You were
listen.
using the goodies,
Oh,
man.
actually, yeah, I had like an Ith bow, the cork bow back in the day, like white rings. I mean, I guess,
Oh
hey,
no.
don't tell anybody, all right? Blizzard, don't watch this video, all right? Yes, back when I was like 14, I had these hacked items. I'll never forget that I traded. It was like a few weeks before the patch dropped for like Enigma and stuff like that, and I was like, or all the new rune words came out. I was like, why does this guy want my superior 6-socketed Hydra bow? Like, I don't even know why. Why does he want this? He's giving me 40 hex chimes for it. Like, this is crazy. So I took them, obviously, and I used them for a while. Yeah, and a couple weeks later, they just all
Yeah,
disappeared.
they would poop.
All
Yeah, the runes would
disappeared.
poop too.
Yeah,
You had
yeah,
to
yeah.
perm the runes.
Right,
I
yeah.
still don't quite remember what that means. Something to do with putting it in the stash, leaving the game, logging out. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Something
I
with
wasn't sure
perming
either.
the
But yeah,
runes.
all the hex gems, obviously, they're all gone. You know, they obviously found a way to eliminate all those. But yeah.
Yeah, those were godly.
Yeah. 90. Anyone who doesn't know who watches in the future, 90. It depends which ones you have, but there was 90 vitality, 90 to strength, 90 to dexterity on a small charm.
Oh, nice.
And they had a vitality version and an energy version, which people would try to scam you. They'd be like, "Oh, I'll give you 3 hex charms for that." And okay, and then they would throw them in there, and they'd be energy ones. I'm like, get that shit out of here! Like nobody wants those. Nobody wants those. Get that out of here.
Yeah, they need. Yeah. Trying to undersell you with those.
Yeah, they were worth like a fifth of what the vitality ones were. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump topics here real quick, if you don't mind, because you did mention other games that you played. I know you play WoW. You said you fired up another channel to put videos on because you love playing WoW. You want to do some videos on that. What other type of games, whether like games you played in the past that are like the best games ever made, or other kind of games that you play? What other kind of franchises and stuff do you think are really good to play?
Oh, the only 2 other franchises I play outside of Diablo these days I have interest in playing, and this goes for like the past 10 years plus probably. I like the Resident Evil games for one. Resident Evil 1 remake, one of my patrons, Baza, hooked me up with that, so I intend to play that some more. It was a good time. Resident Evil 1 remake, you know what I'm talking about? I think must have amped it up a little bit. And
I played Resident Evil 1. I do know that. for
really?
for PS1.
Right, and that's when I was introduced to them, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like the more recent Resident Evil 2 remake.
Okay.
I thought that was pretty good. But so I play those games occasionally on the side, but really the only other game I'm looking forward to is the Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah. I agree with that one, yeah.
Right, because you mentioned that have you played Morrowind, Oblivion? Have you played those 2?
Oh, yeah. I got into Morrowind quite a bit. Yeah, those type of single-player RPGs, for whatever reason, single-player games, I just like a lot more than like online multiplayer stuff. So yeah, those Morrowind I was huge into, and Oblivion and Skyrim. Really enjoyed those. What did you like
the most?
It's hard. The only reason it's hard because I jumped back, I mean, not super recently, but I jumped back and played Morrowind, and you're like, oh, you remember how crazy this open world was, and you go all the way across the island, and I go
huge.
Well, yeah, I go back and play Morrowind now, and it's like, this map is tiny. Like,
really?
It just looks huge because there's so much fog, and then you walk forward, and then it like loads in, and you're like, this is like the size of one city in Skyrim. Yeah, it's like,
oh man, that's crazy.
Maybe I'm exaggerating slightly, but it's like, it just seems so much smaller than like Oblivion, and especially Skyrim. Like Skyrim, you get up on the mountain, you're like, there's that city, I'm gonna walk to it, and you walk down the mountain, staring at the city across the whole continent, and you can just walk right over to it, and it never gets out of sight. On Skyrim, Skyrim, like,
was a great time.
That I wouldn't say, I mean, blew my mind is a little bit of an exaggeration, but excellently made open world for sure. Like, and yeah, but Morrowind back in the day, picking between those games is so crazy. I don't know if
more complex. The older ones were more complex, weren't they?
I don't know about
the combat or the skills or professions, or maybe they weren't. I mean, I thought that they simplified Skyrim some. You can become a master of all trades without much issue.
I would say the old games are probably harder. I do remember because on Skyrim on Morrowind you would cast spells and they would just like miss or fail, and you'd be like, and you're like, failed, failed.
Oh yeah,
I
played it just and put an hour into that game. Then you'd hit him, you try to hit him, and you'd miss. Oh,
miss. Yeah. And you'd be like, okay, well, I just cast all my spells and they all failed because I don't have high enough magic. Now I have to chug a potion or whatever to get my mana back, and then you'd cast and cast. Finally, one would work out of like 15. You'd
hit those walls. You were fighting higher level enemies, weren't you?
Oh yeah. That's the way that game worked. It was like the enemy level was based upon where you went. It wasn't based upon your character level. So if you went to the wrong place, they would just be like, "Chuh," and you'd die instantly, and you'd be like, "Okay, I guess I can't go there yet." but also if you knew the right things or the not glitches. I mean, there were glitches and stuff, but if you knew where to get the right stuff, you could beat the game like super quick. Like if you got there was a certain guy where you'd be walking down a path and a guy would fall from the sky and he would have scrolls of that would give you 1,000 to your acrobat skill.
Oh
So
hell
you would
yeah!
cast that spell and you would jump and you would fly across the whole continent.
I feel like I've seen videos on this.
Yeah, but if you aimed right,
They
yeah,
like
this I was gonna
fly.
say. The speedrunners do that, where they grab that scroll and they jump and they land at the end of the game. You know, because they aim
Then
right.
you beat it.
You can beat it in like a few minutes, I think. Because
Oh yeah, yeah,
there's
okay.
also a glitch where if you like stab
An
someone with a
exploit.
lockpick, for whatever reason, it does like infinite damage. So you can
Oh my god.
the very last, the most powerful character in the game, you like stab him with a lockpick, he just drops dead. So
Hell yeah. Well, those are some crazy exploits. If you avoid those, it's probably pretty damn challenging, I would
oh yeah,
guess.
it was a lot harder because I feel like on Skyrim like that, you wouldn't have the skills wouldn't fail and fail and fail. It would just like they would do 1 to 5 damage, and then they would do 2 to 7 damage. Or I'm just spitting numbers out here, but it was something like that. You wouldn't just, it wasn't as hard.
You know what? I ruined the experience for Skyrim because I saw someone do it online where they like go to the grinding stone and they just keep grinding their axe and like the axe got like super powerful. It was like so you just had to get the materials to sharpen your axe or whatever and upgrade it. So I just did that and I did that and I did that. All of a sudden I could kill everything in one hit.
Hmm.
So I kind of walked through the I was like, well, I kind of did this legitly. It's not like I typed in a cheat. But I feel like it was quite an
Right.
exploit.
Huh.
I can't
Yeah.
remember the details, but it was something about how you could craft or blacksmith the items, and really built up some weapon. And all of a sudden, I was kicking everything's ass. So I kind of regret doing that. I want to try that game again without indulging in those exploits. Yeah, I'm really hopeful for Elder Scrolls 6. Of course, I don't know anything about it, so it's not like D4 where I think it's going to be potentially really cool because I just have no idea. But I'm really hoping it's going to put a ton of effort and uh, I hope it's a bit more complex than Skyrim.
Okay.
But maybe as you're saying, uh, maybe I'm off in terms of Skyrim being a less complex game. Have you played Daggerfall way back in the day?
Oh no, no, I Daggerfell I've never got into. The ones before Morrowind I never did, no, but
I
they,
haven't even tried Morrowind except for gave it about an hour one time.
oh okay. Yeah, more
No, Snow Daggerfall was like a
that was
10 favorite.
yeah, that was like floppy disks back like
I think so. I didn't mean if you played it back when it came out. I kind of worded that wrong. What I
well
meant
no, I know
was
what you meant. I thought
back
about going
when
back and trying it just
back whenever have you played it?
I was such like an Elder Scrolls like when those games came out. And I kind of like the way that they do that to where there's like one game like every 10 years or something. Like the hype for that is just so crazy. And it's actually
A
like
lot of anticipation.
there's a technological advancement between each game. Like it's not like every year
Sure.
there's at least one Call of Duty that comes out. How much different is it from the last one? Really? Like it's the
Yeah.
same console, same generation, but it's literally for Elder Scrolls. It's a completely new generation. You're going from I had Morrowind on Xbox, and then it's like I get an Xbox 360, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like Oblivion's coming out. I remember getting that and playing the game all night when it came out, and I
Oh,
like the
really?
graphics were so good. I'm like, look like this, and I got
Yeah.
through like the opening cave in like 4 hours because I was like looking in this corner and I'm like looking at this barrel, like, oh my gosh, like you can just see the lockpick on the floor and just like you can like just like
Oh,
move stuff.
wow.
You can just pick the
That
barrel
must have
up
been
and
amazing.
it was crazy, mind
Must have
blowing.
been such an experience.
The same thing with Skyrim. The day it comes out, get the game, and it's
I
like,
got it the day it came out. Yeah.
look at that
Exactly.
mountain. Like I'm gonna walk up that mountain, and I followed the path around the edge of the mountain for
Yeah.
6, 10, 12 hours. I run into some dragon. The dragon just like boom. Or like remember the ogres in Skyrim that would just like when you were really low level, they'd just be like boom, and you'd fly up in the sky.
Giants.
Yeah, yeah, whatever they
Yeah,
were.
or the ogres. Is that how you say it?
The ogres, yeah.
The ogres.
Did I say
Yeah, I know
ogres?
you go.
Did I say
Just
ogres?
go.
I meant to
I
say
think so. You
ogres.
said it right, didn't you? Yeah, you'd go flying like hundreds of feet. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you could shout them. You could shout them, and they'd go flying
Yeah, they'd ragdoll
once you learn your
off.
shout.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think was more euphoric, experiencing Oblivion for the first time or experiencing Skyrim for the first time?
Oblivion or Skyrim? Let's see here. I would say well, boy, that's a toughie. That's a toughie. Because I remember I remember how crazy the portals were on Oblivion, you know, the Oblivion gates. I had to go into every one and get every sigil stone out of every single one. I didn't know
I
what
thought that got redundant.
it did, but
Made me quit.
I got so many of them, and well, you didn't have to get them all. I didn't know they didn't really do a whole lot except for like boost up your weapon or whatever, your armor, whatever you decide to put them on. So I was like, I got to get them all, and I had like 100 of them, 150 of them, I don't even know. And you know, you couldn't carry it. They weighed like a pound each, so you'd be way too much. So you pick a house and you drop them all in the house. And you know how when you drop a sigil stone somewhere, it'd be like,
I
so
think I know what you're talking about.
I
It's been
dropped
a
like
long time.
200 of them in this house. You drop in there and you're like, your TV's about to blow up from all the sound it's making. I end up dropping so much stuff in this house that I saved up that it just started like poofing essentially. Like it
Oh gosh.
couldn't save the data in one area, like that much data in one area. It all was poofing and stuff. But yeah, that's like I just got like I don't want to say addicted, but it's just like close this gate, close this gate, close this gate, and they just kept more would spawn, and you keep closing more and more and more. And yeah, like I played through the game like a bunch of different ways, a bunch of characters. Obviously, the next few times I did not do that, but it's so hard. It's so hard to pick because like I would have to say Skyrim, I guess. Like just with that huge mountain and the fact that you'd get up on top of the mountain and it would be just like if you were on top of a huge mountain, you could see outer space real clear because you were on top of the mountain, and you could see the snow's blowing around, but you can see the city you came from. It's right there. Like you can see the river going through the town that you just came from. Like, and you
It
could,
was so immersive, and you got the music, the natural sounds around you.
yeah,
That was a great experience.
yeah. I'd have to. I guess I'd have to go with Skyrim just because of how far you could like see, and yeah, it was.
You going to play through that anytime? Do you feel like you're going to play just even on your own time? Do you want to explore that again anytime, or?
I mean, I would, but to be honest with my YouTube channel and stuff, I really don't have time at all to do that. Like, I don't even have time to do the things like I don't even have time to like go to the gym and stuff now as much as I want to. You know, like, I feel like I'm so crunched for time even as it is.
Oh yeah.
Not like emphasizing more games over like what I'm already doing. You know, so.
Oh yeah, I understand that. Do you feel like you're going to get Elder Scrolls 6 when it comes out, or are you going to pass on it?
I don't know how I couldn't like
I'm gonna.
with how
It's
like
going to be like the next game that I buy. That's how little I play other games, but I think that's going to be the next game I get is going to be outside of Diablo 4. I'm
yeah.
going to get Diablo 4 is like the games I plan on getting, and then I'm going to get Elder Scrolls 6.
Is Elder Scrolls 6 is just a regular Elder Scrolls game, right? Is it like massively multiplayer online type of deal?
Oh, it's a regular solo.
Okay.
Like the Morrowind.
Because they had an Elder Scrolls Online like 4 or 5 years ago, right? Or
I
something.
didn't play that.
Okay, yeah.
This is supposed to be the next entry in the. I'm almost positive of this, like the single player saga official timeline or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I might have to switch to an Elder Scrolls channel here real quick.
Oh yeah, maybe you can make do what I did, just make another channel for the game if you want to go all out, you know.
Yeah, because Elder Scrolls is I don't if they make the giant crazy open world, even if it's equal, I don't see how they could make a game worse than Skyrim because Morrowind was awesome, Oblivion was better, Skyrim was even better, I think. Like even if it's the same as Skyrim but a completely different world, it's still going to be legendary like in my opinion. Like I mean, I'm going to have to play it, I think.
My intuition is it's going to be a pretty epic game.
Yeah, I think so
They're putting
too.
a ton of time into it, and they've probably been paying some attention to the modding community. They've remastered Skyrim who knows how many times and added some nice things to it. So yeah, it feels like they're on the right track. Yeah, those are basically the next two games I intend to get because I don't really play many games on the site either, as
Hmm.
mentioned. Outside of that, I like the Zelda games from a long time ago. I might try to sit down and play play through that recent Zelda game because I do have it. I have a Nintendo Switch and I like never play it. Just wanted to get one, and I have the Zelda game, but I haven't played through it. But yeah, maybe one of these days I'll mess with it a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah,
Once I get like YouTube all out, I have like a ton of videos and I just have time to just chill or whatever, maybe I'll play it for a day.
yeah. Old men like us just have time to chill, right? Right.
Yeah.
This is the only time we got to chill right here, right here. We can sit here and
Yeah.
chat it up. Yeah, there was for myself other games like I used to play back in the day. You ever play any Final Fantasy type stuff?
I played 10 a little bit for PS2. I got like a quarter of the way through the game or something. I think I was borrowing it from a friend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's the most I've really gave to Final Fantasy, and I
Okay.
know that it's a pretty epic series, but just I just kind of missed that.
Just the one, yeah, just the ones that, yeah, you were had other games you were playing, never got into those ones.
I think I was playing Diablo back then. Actually, that's probably all I was doing in
Okay,
terms of gaming.
okay, because yeah, when I
Playing
originally,
D1.
I don't Diablo, yeah, Diablo wasn't out originally because Final Fantasy 7, I remember that game. I actually that was another one where I always pick games up from a friend's house. I can
A
remember,
buddy who played that.
yeah, I can remember trick or treating. Go out every year. I was a hockey player because you could wear rollerblades and you could hit way more houses if you wear rollerblades. You
Oh,
can
that's a great idea.
zip down the road. Every year I was a hockey player, so we'd go out, get all our candy, stay the night at a friend's house, and just crushing Kit Kats and Snickers and stuff. And playing, and his brother had Final Fantasy 7, so we took it from him and we were playing it all night. And I was like, I got to get this game. This game is sick.
Oh wow.
And
So you
I ended up actually never getting it, but I borrowed it from him and played it all the way through. And then eventually I got it when I was like in my 20s and played it through a bunch of times again. But yeah, in my opinion, this might be controversial. Let me know down in the comments. See, that's called interaction right there. Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9. Best Final Fantasies, all for PS1. They're the best Final Fantasies ever made. I played 10. Eh, there was too many cutscenes in 10 in my opinion. It was all they tried to make it
it's
too
really cinematic.
yeah, they tried to make it too fancy in my opinion.
That's what
So
I thought when I was playing it. It
yeah,
wasn't like FF7 when I watched my buddy play it.
crazy enough at the time, my girlfriend at the time, for some reason, I don't know why, her parents were divorced, whatever, her dad bought her a PS2 with like 10 games for no reason because she's a girl and doesn't play video games, but like,
Oh, wow.
you're trying to
It's a good
whatever.
girlfriend to have.
Well, yeah, I was like, give me that. So I tried it and I was playing it for like 3 hours and I was like, I haven't done anything. All I've done is watch cutscenes and skip, skip, skip,
Yeah,
skip,
that was
skip,
kind of
skip.
ridiculous. That's why I quit. I think I just stopped playing it. Like I was like, oh, this looks cool. It's visually impressive, but I just wasn't getting immersed in that.
Exactly, exactly. And then I played, was it 10-2? Um, there was the one that was like all girls for some reason. I don't remember. There was, if that was, I played 12, which I played through and beat 12. 12 was so easy. It was insane. Because I'm thinking Final Fantasy 7, it was like, I can remember Final Fantasy 7, 8, even 9. It was like, you get to the end and you're like, die, 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 die. You're like, I need to figure out, and you're trying to log into the dial-up internet to figure out what to do. And, 12, it was just like clicking buttons. Okay, I beat the game. Cool. But
What
but
about the recent one online? Have you tried that?
no, any of the ones that are like, yeah, Final Fantasy Online or even Elder Scrolls Online and stuff like that, or
Oh yeah.
Fallout Online. I never played any of those because I don't know, those are the ones that people usually end up liking more, but those are the ones I end up liking less because I feel like they take away from the gameplay to try to like concentrate their time on like the socialization aspect of it, which isn't bad. Like that's a good thing, but I feel like they don't nail down the game enough because they spend all their time concentrating on the social aspects of it instead of making a great game.
Yeah, and a cool thing about the solo playthroughs is that can always just pick right up where you left off, and you don't have any distractions. So it's just kind of a lot of time of solitude, you know? It's kind of like a spiritual journey, I think. You're going through a game on your own like that without the distractions of the chat and the game, uh, your boys hitting you up or whatever. There's something to be had, I think, in that experience as well.
Yeah, then you do when you have the like online ones. It's let's say you start a new character and it's like, well, nobody's at this point in the game right now, so it's like, okay, I'm just playing by myself anyways. Like this good thing I'm playing online right now because everyone else is doing bail runs over and over again. We'll go back to Diablo 2. I'm trying to start a new character, but I guess the only option is get rushed or just play by yourself. So why am I even bother playing it online? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I'm glad that Elder Scrolls, to my understanding, it's going to be a single player experience. So yeah, hopefully I hope to make some time and delve into that a little bit.
We'll have to collab on a Elder Scrolls 6 video, huh?
Yeah, maybe that'll be a good time, man. I hopefully it'll come out sooner than later because I don't
Right.
think there's any official release.
Oh yeah. I haven't heard a whole lot about it except for like hearing about it. You ever play any of the Fallout games? Since they're kind of like Elder Scrolls, like Doomsday, essentially.
I had a couple of buddies actually who I think wanted to introduce me to those games. Um, I only tried it once. I tried Fallout
New
3.
Vegas.
Wasn't New Vegas. I think it was just Fallout 3.
Okay.
And that was supposed to be a really good one, right? Made me I got a little motion sickness playing it, so I just stopped. And I
Hmm.
was too busy doing other things then I guess because I gave it a shot. I could see the appeal, I think when I was playing it. But I didn't give it enough time, you know. So, but yeah, I got motion sickness playing it. It was messed up.
Huh.
So maybe that was the primary reason why I stopped.
Yeah, that's
It's odd because
pretty crazy. Yeah,
it's made by the same creators of Skyrim.
it's essentially the same type of gameplay, just with like a different skin, sorta. But
I don't know.
it's a pretty cool game with kind of an interesting story, like futuristic, but like in the past, because it's got like that. It's essentially takes place in a time like if back when we'll say there was the whole like nuclear bomb scares in like the 50s and 60s, when like our parents or whatever would have to hide under their desks, like instead of fire drills they do nuclear bomb drills, like it takes place. I don't know exactly what year, but after if the nuclear annihilation really happened back then. So it's like,
Apocalyptic setting or something, right?
yeah, I kind of find it super interesting the way that they set the game up with how highways are half destroyed and like this bridge is
Oh,
missing,
cool.
and you can kind of see different places where it's like, oh, it looks like a battle took place here, like during the war or something, or like you see even just like the creepy, disgusting stuff to where there's like a dead body here that's like holding a teddy bear or something, and it's like somebody designed this stuff for the story of like what was this person doing when this happened and all this different kind of stuff. So
Aren't there like aliens and shit in that game?
there's like there is, but it's like that's like kind of almost like an Easter egg kind of thing, like a hidden thing. Like if you go
Oh, I
off
didn't
in
know
the certain areas, there's like there's like crash flying saucers in certain parts of certain games, and then you like
that.
find the aliens. But it might be the part where you're talking about aliens. There's like deformed creatures and like these giant. I forget what they're called now, but they're almost like dragons that can't fly. I forget what they're called now, but they're so fast and they just slaughter you. Similar to like in Morrowind, how you were saying like there are certain areas where monsters are way too strong for you. If you go to a place where these things are at, they'll see you and you can't run away from them. They run way faster than you do. They'll chase you down. They run double as fast as you do, and they'll hit you
Oh,
one.
they kick your ass?
Oh yeah, they'll hit you one time if you come across them and you're like level 8 or something. They'll just and you just
Oh,
blow up
wow.
and you're dead. So.
So you played that game through Fallout 3?
Oh yeah. I played the Fallout games. I probably between Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, and what's the there's a newer
Fallout
Fallout.
4.
Is it Fallout 4? It's just Fallout 4. Okay, I couldn't remember, but
You played that?
yeah, those Fallout 4 is really, really, really good too.
You played through that all the way?
Oh yeah, all those I played
Oh,
through
cool.
multiple
That wasn't
times.
even too long ago, was it?
I mean, it's probably been like 8 or 10 years now, probably.
Ah,
Well, maybe
time
I'm
freaking flies.
maybe I'm
November 10th,
exaggerating.
2015, it came out.
Okay, well, there you go. 7 years ago.
That wasn't too far away.
I
Okay.
definitely, I probably played through each of them like 3 or 4 times, probably. But I mean, it's like thinking about the amount of hours it takes to beat those games, like when you put it into Diablo 2 standards, it's like nothing. But I mean, I probably had like 40 to 60 hours on a character to beat them, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not like
Yeah.
it's not like Diablo 2 where it's like, recently I found my first Zod rune in my life, like it's not like those type of things where you
Mhm.
play for thousands and thousands and thousands of hours. It's like a few hundred hours to beat it a few different times,
Oh, yeah.
So so there's one other super important question I got to get to here. Um, what are your musical tastes? Because I get asked this all the time, and part of it is because of when I'm streaming, I'm listening to like the sick guy that I found that does the backing tracks, like no vocal backing tracks that I listen to, so people can hear like the different types of rock and metal I listen to. But
And that's that music that's playing when you're streaming, huh?
yeah, N&M Creations. Anyone, link in the description to check him out. I don't know him at all. Not affiliated. He doesn't pay me
Yeah.
anything. I just found him. Makes sick music that I listen to. But what
Oh,
type?
cool.
What type of music? Just not necessarily streaming wise, but what type of music do you generally listen to? Are you like a rap guy, country, heavy metal?
That's a good theme, man. I noticed that when I like that theme that you have in your streaming, and you have like it's like heavy metal stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
Is that what
yeah,
it is?
yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah, I figured it's
I
kind of the
guess
stuff. It's kind of the stuff that I like, and usually, I mean, dudes like manly metal, Ooh. So
yeah, it is some manly stuff. Um, I
men,
guess
men that have many wives like to listen to that stuff.
yeah, I think they do. I know I need to start listening to that shit. um, it's really weird. I was wondering if I was gonna have to answer this freaking question today. I didn't really think you were gonna grill me much, but I was like, am I gonna have to? Are we gonna like talk about music? Because what was actually just I have a gym in my garage, right, and I have a stereo in there, and there's
Right.
some CD that I found on my desk. It was like some burnt CD.
Speaking of the gym in your garage, oh, it's backwards. That was
Oh, nice.
question about working out. That was another one on here, but I didn't get to it yet.
Okay. But yeah, I got the gym in the garage, and I had this disc in my desk that I found. It was just like mixed classic rock stuff, right?
Hmm,
So, because the reality is,
hmm.
as of the past many years, I just haven't been listening to much music. It's really weird. I used to be into I think I like classic rock and alternative rock.
Okay.
Um, I used to like bands like Smashing Pumpkins and U2, and I don't mind Metallica, AC/DC, bands like that. So just a lot of classic and alternative stuff, I think, is what I listen to. Maybe I'm missing out though. Maybe I need some of this heavy metal stuff, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
I take you for a
maybe I'll give
heavy
that a
metal guy. I'm
shot.
gonna be honest. I picture you as a
Oh,
guy
really?
getting in the pit, just like doing some work, ooh,
Yeah,
picking people
hell
up over
yeah.
your head, throwing
Oh,
them. They
damn.
didn't even want to crowd surf, but now they are.
Oh, damn, okay. Well, I'm glad that's what I embody, you know?
You just ooze that type of energy. You know what I mean?
Uh, and maybe that's what I'm missing in life, man. Maybe I need to listen to some of that heavy metal. Because outside of that, I listen to like movie soundtracks and orchestral stuff, but I really just haven't been listening to much music at all. Um, except for, like I said, there's that burnt CD with some Metallica, some CDC on it. I can't remember what else. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have much to say about that. I used to like some weird, unusual kinds of music as well, like Enya, for example. It's kind of emo shit, you know? You know
Oh,
Enya?
well, I don't know.
Chick.
I don't know Enya, but I know
You should
emo.
listen to this
I
stuff,
know
man. She's
emo
pretty good.
shit. That's right up my alley.
Oh, really?
Literally growing up, it was like screamo emo type stuff. Like I don't know if you heard of Silverstein, one of my favorite bands
Okay, I
of
don't
all
know.
time.
Maybe I'd recognize some of the stuff if I heard it.
I've probably seen them like
Realistic.
15 times at least in concert, or like
Oh wow.
Atreyu. You probably heard of like Avenged Sevenfold. That's a little more like mainstream
Yeah.
rock stuff nowadays, but yeah, yeah, pretty much stuff that people would categorize as like emo screamo type of stuff is what I listened to for the longest time, and still even somewhat nowadays even. It gets a bad
Oh
rap, but I
nice.
like it. I like it.
In my garage, I have a nice stereo and I have a subwoofer hooked up to it, so I really have a good setup to just crank the freaking music and try to get my ass up and work out.
Hmm.
Maybe that's what I need to get my ass in gear. As you probably know, working out's kind of a bitch.
Right, yeah. Yeah, to be honest, when I work out, I don't really listen to music a lot anymore. I'm always listening to like podcasts or like some YouTube video I'll put on and just like listen to. But yeah,
Pretty much what I'm doing too.
used to always
I'll
listen to
watch
music,
YouTube.
but put on some heavy metal back in the day, but not so much anymore. Yeah,
Oh, really?
I usually
Okay.
always just listen to the Iceman when I'm working out
Oh,
usually.
I
So
figured you were listening to me all the
oh,
time.
yeah,
Wow.
pretty much.
I
I mean,
mean,
everyone should be. Everyone should be if they're not.
yeah, I think they're just holding me down is all. Oh no, I mean there is some relative success that I am pleased with. So thank you.
So
That's kind.
you mentioned your garage workout setup. What would you say What would you say? This is an important question for me. Your favorite workout day. Everyone's got their favorite. Usually it's like chest day, but
Oh yeah,
what's your?
mine's chest day.
Oh yeah, yeah. You do.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, yeah, you're like.
Because I mean I feel like I have a pretty good bench press, but I keep the weight off my chest by a couple inches, so it doesn't really count. But I can press some good weight,
I mean,
man.
it's all right. I usually do too. Just I blew my shoulder out bench pressing actually. It wasn't even that much, but well, I mean, I didn't warm up. I was like, I don't have enough time to go to the gym, but I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get it in today. So I didn't stretch or anything or warm up. I threw on 225 and just went for it. And I was
Oh
like,
nice.
put down 1, 2, and I was like,
Not even warming up.
oh, and then it like hurt. I got up, I paused for a second. I did like 4 or 5 more. I was like, that don't feel great. And I did another set of like 8, and then I was like, oh my God, that does not feel good. And I just left. And then like a week later, I kind of feel bad. I never told the people this happened, but we went and visited some friends that have like an autistic son who's like 10 years old. And so I was watching them in the house real quick while they were getting some stuff out of the car, and all of a sudden I hear like this, like the dining room chair sliding across the floor, and I walk in the dining room and he's on top of the refrigerator, right? Which is they hide their
Oh
chips and
god.
stuff up behind in the shelves, and so I'm like, oh geez, he's like standing on top of the refrigerator, this 10-year-old. So I
Oh
reach
my
up and I
god.
grab him off the refrigerator like this, and I felt it tear, and I was like,
Oh
oh
wow.
my God, like. And yeah, it was never the same. So yeah, it's hard for me to when I bench to get all the way down anymore with this side. It's real
I hope
rough.
that kid's
So
thankful you saved him.
well, I mean, maybe he would have been fine. I don't know. Like young kids are very flexible and very limber, so he probably would have been fine whatever
You
happened.
probably
But
would have just bounced or something.
yeah, these kids these days, that's how they
You
are.
just hurt
But
yourself for no reason, man.
yeah, when I grabbed him, it was just oh my gosh, ooh, ooh.
That was after you already heard it in the gym.
Yeah, that was about a week after I had done that.
Oh, that
So and it
sucks.
was it was yeah,
So ever since, how long ago was that? Have you been dealing with that for
probably
years?
about 4 years ago. So
And
yeah.
you still have pain from it, huh?
Oh yeah, there's a when you tear your AC joint, you can't really see it on the camera, but there's a lump right here of it's where your collarbone goes into your shoulder, and when you tear that ligament and the cartilage, the bone sticks up a little bit. So I have a
Oh
lump
my
on top of
god.
my shoulder over here that
You're still doing?
you can't there's no surgery, like you can't fix it. All they can do is like shave the bone down so you can't see the lump. You can't like put it back. So,
Oh wow.
yeah, it's just what it is.
Still do free bench press then?
I do, yeah, but I
Okay.
never try to max anymore. Like, um, I might have done
That's
two,
probably good.
like since that happened, I might have done even 225. I might have done it maybe 2 or 3, like total like days since that happened.
Okay.
So like I usually might get like 185 on there and just do 8 or 10 of them for two, three, four sets or something and call that a day on bench press. And then I'll do some cable pullovers or whatever other type of chest exercise that's like, you know, not going to
Nice.
cause me a problem.
Yeah, I hurt myself benching as well uh, about 15 years ago or something, and because I would go all the way down. I
Mm-hmm.
think I was doing. That's when I started doing heavier weight, and I talked to a trainer who was in the gym, and the guy looked pretty good. He had, he was swole, he had a good body. He was like, "Hey," he was like, "you might want to just not touch your chest." I was like, "Really?" He was like, "Yeah, just don't touch your chest when you do bench press." Because that's what he did, and he was all swelled up. He had big pecs and all that. So he kept it off. He kept it off his chest like this much, like a couple inches. So I just started doing that. I was like, oh, I was like, and I haven't hurt my shoulder since. Fortunately, it wasn't as bad of what you did apparently, as what you did because mine I don't notice, but I did hurt it for several months, about 15 years back, and
Yeah.
I started lifting pretty much.
Gotcha. Yeah. That was, yeah, unfortunately, it's always, it was the kid's fault, really. It's always kids' fault. That's
Yeah,
everything in life. It's the kid's fault, right?
it ruined it for you, man. Sucks. But I what I've been doing though lately is I kind of changed my like what I want out of working out. Like lately I've been trying to go on more walks, going on bike rides. I've been doing kettlebell stuff, and I still bench press. Like I go heavy. I take it seriously. I'll do, I'll curl. Also I'll take curls seriously. I do like I got big old. I have a set of fives to 70s and dumbbells. So I'll
Okay.
do
Nice.
curls and I'll
Nice.
do full bar curls. I do still take chest and shoulders and biceps, and I do relatively low reps, and I still try to build some muscle or whatever. But for the most part, I just want to be healthy and feel good. So a lot of that has to do with like I started getting a bit of a tummy, and I don't really have an excuse. I don't eat that bad. I don't eat a lot of sugar. But I just sit around a lot. It can be easy to just sit around and watch YouTube or play games or make videos. And so I get out of the rhythm, even though for the longest time I have been working out. Ever since I can remember, I've really been going to the gym 3 or 4 times a week. I never really took a break.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had times where they're just lazy workouts. I've probably had months where I just kind of swing through the motions, do 3 sets of curls, 3 sets of tries, 3 sets of whatever, and get out of there and not really go that hard or take too much time between sets. And so there were times where I didn't take it that seriously, but as of lately, I'm trying to do more full body stuff. I do pull ups, I do deadlifts, I do squats, and I don't try to do crazy heavy weight with the deadlifts or the squats. In fact, I do very lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hurt myself for one, but
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm
I know. I gotcha.
just kind of thinking about, I want to be healthy in the body and mind. Like when I was in my early 20s, I just wanted muscle. And
Right.
but that's such an unhealthy approach because I would just put a bunch of shit in my just like the weight gainer supplements and just eat a bunch of garbage just to try to gain muscle. And I feel like I gained some decent muscle and all that, and I still have most of it, but I just care a lot less about that at this point where I just want to be healthy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
trying to think about my heart.
Yeah. I definitely feel on that one. It's,
That's so
that's a
important.
big, a really important thing to me because not to put it down on it. My dad passed away. He was just 62, heart attack because of like
Oh, I'm
weight and
sorry to
stuff.
hear
So it's
that.
like, yeah, that was a few years ago now. So yeah, that's
Oh
really in
gosh,
the last few years. It's really
young.
become something I got to pay attention to. High blood pressure runs in my family. High cholesterol runs in the family. So it's like, geez, But yeah, I've been trying to really get more on cardio, and it's been coming along a little bit. I've tried to.
It
I've
sucks.
usually stick for working out. I go push pull legs. I've been doing that for a long time. Instead of doing like
Uh,
a 4 day split, like some people call it like a bro split, the 4 day. But push pull legs for 6 days a week. But I decided I haven't been able to like. Originally, I started that because I was going to work out 6 days a week, and I did for a while, that works great if you can work out 6 days a week.
Oh, sure.
It's a little bit tough. So I've started to switch it to where like I do like a small cardio warm up every day of 10 or 15 minutes, where I'll do either stairs or bike, and then do my push pull legs, and then I'll do one full day of cardio of like 45 minutes on like that's all,
Nice.
like no matter what I do that whole day. Part of that too is because I don't know if you ever seen I've been doing it for a few years, but I do this fight for air climb, like it's like a charity stair climb thing that I do every year. So I do a lot of stairs and stuff like that, and so yeah, like that's another reason to do just different cardio. It makes that charity thing that I do every year a lot easier and stuff.
Stairs will
But
kick your ass, won't they?
yeah, they definitely can.
Hefty
The first
workout.
year, man, my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time. I almost left her. I'm gonna be no, I'm just joking. But she's been doing this since before I met her. Like that's how I got into it, is because she did the stair climb thing, and
Oh, yeah.
she's like, oh come on, you know the Renaissance Center in Detroit, right? Do you know? Have you ever been to Detroit? Like I know you said you live a few hours away, but
I went to the Renaissance Festival. This is something completely different, isn't it?
completely different, right? Yeah. So the Renaissance Center, it's like 74 flights, like straight up, right? So it's kind of like how they do like 5K like charity things where you run 5 kilometers, 3.5 miles or whatever it is. But instead of like running, you go up all these stairs, right? I don't know if you've ever gone up like 70 something flights of stairs as fast as you can. It's a problem. It's a problem.
Probably not. I mean, I know.
It's
Yeah,
a
I go to parks occasionally. I don't know how many stairs there are. How many stairs are you talking?
there's like there I think there's 22 stairs in a flight. So
Seven,
so
70 times that.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I get when man, I'll when I first got up to like 30 something, I was like, "Oh no. This is a problem." Like I'm like
Yeah,
dying.
it's
Th-
telling, isn't it? You're
Then
like,
you get up
damn, I
to
gotta count
50,
more.
60. Yeah, she crushed me. She always crushes me.
Oh, nice.
She's got these powerhouse legs. So, but I got all this meat to carry around. 225 over here,
Hell yeah.
This guy. But I don't know, you figure with my long legs it'd be a benefit, but I don't know. She crushes me every year. Every year she crushes me. But she's just a good stair climber, I guess. So, but doing that stuff is mega fun. But I've been really trying to get into the cardio a lot more because number one, you don't hurt yourself doing cardio like I do, like picking
True.
stuff up. I got a bad back because that was one of the reasons why actually my wife talked me into doing YouTube. Crazy
Oh,
enough,
really?
yeah, mine. I know, right? She lit.
Probably pleased with that.
Yeah, she literally talked me into it, seeing how the channel was doing. She'd been trying to get me to leave the factory work for like I was working in like a metal fab place. There's people welding and powder coating, and I was running like CNC lasers cutting steel. And I picked up a huge tube, like essentially like in a deadlift fashion, but I picked it up and I went to walk and I felt a pop in my back, pinched a nerve, fell over,
Gosh.
collapsed, and I couldn't walk for like a week.
Oh my God.
Back hurt. It still hurts now. Like every once in a while my leg will tingle and stuff. So it's been messed up. But yeah, that's why a big reason why I'm kind of shifting away from like lifting heavy. I've only deadlifted probably 2 or 3 times in the last year because of that, even though deadlifting is like so good for you.
I just do lightweight on dead. I have a deadlift hex bar in the garage. I have a 45 on each side. Sometimes I'll add to it, but I just do, 15, 20 reps, couple sets. I could do a lot more, but I don't care to. But I still want to get the motions in, and the
Yeah.
squats a little more. I kind of do lighter weight.
Yeah, with squats I don't think I even ever put 225 on when I squat, and when I'm deadlifting, I mean, I find deadlifting easier, but it still just scares me, the whole motion. So,
I don't want to hurt myself.
yeah,
That's what my concern is. I'm like, fuck, I'm not gonna sit there and yank or stand there and yank and yank and yank and hurt myself. So I just do light stuff.
the few times I've deadlifted, I've
Yeah,
put like 225 on is like maybe I'll put a little lower and then I'll go to 225 on deadlift. And I can remember putting, plate after plate after plate on it and pulling on it, and you drop it down and you're you see
Yeah.
spots, you know, and
Yeah.
you're like, well, whoa, like I don't want to fall over in the gym right now, but like, you know, you got 5 plates on each side, and you're just like ripping it. I ain't doing that
I
ever
never
again.
took deadlift seriously just because it scares me. I see guys yanking and I just don't want to I want to end up in a bad place.
Yeah, because yeah, back problems are no joke. Now that I got a shoulder problem, I got a
Uh,
back problem. You know, like
I go hard with my chest, with my triceps, with my shoulders, with my biceps. Outside of that, I don't go hard. I don't go hard with squats. I don't go hard with deadlifts. I like pull-ups. I do a lot of pull-ups, several sets of pull-ups. But and I'm a pretty heavy guy.
okay, you
Um,
can just rip out a bunch of pull-ups, huh? I do pull-ups, but like not that I can only get like 4 or 5 usually in a set. Like,
it hurts, man. You could come over to Ice Boy's gym and we could get up on my we could hit it hard in the gym if you want, man. Because I got a nice pull-up setup.
I
I'll
mean,
show you
one day
what I
you
do.
said you live a few hours away though, right? You said
It'll
what
be a
the
long trip. We'll get a good workout in.
get a good workout in. How many pull-ups do you think you could? How many do you do in a set?
Well, in a set, I do about 12, and I do 3 sets of that.
Okay,
I weigh
wow,
240 pounds.
holy shit!
I'm 240. Yeah.
What?
Look at this.
Oh my, oh, holy
No, a
thick,
lot of it's down here, man. A lot of it's in the belly.
thick.
I mean, I'm not short though. I'm about 6'3", so
Oh no shit. Okay, yeah,
that's
we're
part of what
we're
it.
like the same height then, yeah. But you're like
Oh, nice.
husky. Yeah, I'm right at 6'3", but like
That's always hard to
225.
tell. Oh,
Oh
cool.
yeah, impossible to tell. Impossible to tell when you're.
You're 225?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's when I was 225, I was pretty pleased because I didn't have like a fat belly. So I'm kind of looking to shave off some pounds, on the belly. I mean, I don't want to lose a bunch of muscle while doing it, but yeah, I'll do 3 sets of 12 pull-ups is
God
also what I
damn,
do.
pulling 242. That's crazy. I gotta stop.
I always had a strong back, man.
I gotta stop making excuses for myself. I'm thinking like if I lose like 5 or 10 pounds, I can pull out like more pull ups. But I'm like at 225, it's like I can only get like 4 or 5. Are you talking like under grip or like wide grip?
Well, I do both. And I also have a bar that's like a ladder bar, so you can grab it like this, there like that.
Okay, yeah.
It's a ladder bar, but I have the full bar. I do. I don't know what you call them. Are they chin ups, reverse?
Yeah,
Can't quite
I guess
recall.
this would be chin up, and
I
then
think you're right.
then pull up like the
Well,
wider.
I don't fully extend my arms, so I don't know if technically, if there were onlookers, if those would be full pull-ups or
Oh, I
whatever.
see what you're
So
saying. Yeah, I
there's that.
yeah. Back when I cut a little bit of weight, I almost got down to 200 at one point. I was my friends were straight roasting me, but I was like, I'm gonna get to 199 by May 1st or something. That was the thing. Like, I could get down to it. I never could quite get down under 200. That was like getting under 200 would just be crazy. The lowest I got was 206, probably like 5 years ago. But come to find out, my wife now at the time we weren't married, but not that that's important. But she worked at a place that it was called a DEXA scan, where it would scan your body and it would tell you like this much of your body mass is fat, this much is muscle, this much is bone, this much is water. Like it would break it down. You have in your
Oh, interesting.
midsection, you have this many pounds of fat in your midsection, this many pounds of muscle in your arms. Like it would break it down to every little minute detail. It would scan your body, and it scanned what I went and got one of those scans because she could do them for free and for like practice purposes or whatever. And if I had 0% body fat, which would be dead, you would die if you had no fat in your body. I would have weighed 177 pounds. So that's like if I got under 200 pounds, that would be like 10% body fat, not even at that point.
What's a good point to be at? How much body fat do you want?
Well, at what they say is like professional models are like between like 8 and 12%.
Okay.
So I would have
So
had
10 would be kind of on the low end.
Oh, yeah. If you're down to like 5, that's like unsustainable unless you're just like
Mhm.
eating icebergs lettuce every day, all day, and like
Oh, yeah.
boiled chicken, you know? So like the average, and that's the thing, like the average person, like if you're at like 15 to 18, you're like pretty good for a normal person, if
Oh,
you're
okay.
living an average life. Really, right now, like I'm probably like, I think the last time I had my body fat checked, I was like 28, which like
Oh, really?
I don't feel like I look fat and huge or anything, but like
Yeah.
I'm considered obese. If you're over 25 or something, I think it is. Or maybe 28 is the obese level, but it was like right there. Maybe I was 29 and 28 was the obese level. I can't remember for sure, but like, yeah, to get down to what I was originally thinking, like even when I was at 206, that would have been, I would have been like 12% body fat at the time, or 13, which I don't even
Yes,
know.
that wouldn't be right.
I don't even know how I did that.
Mhm.
Like, maybe I had less muscle at the time, maybe because that was probably 3 years before I had this scan or whatever. So,
Oh, really? Yeah, I'd be scared to get one of those. I'd probably feel like an asshole.
well, yeah, the scans make you look creepy because it makes, I don't know, maybe that's what I look like all the time, but it makes your midsection look like huge. Like it makes it look like
Oh, yeah.
you balloon out like a light bulb or something.
Oh, wow. Nice.
But so,
Yeah, how many days a week do you work out? You said you do that 4, 5, 6 days?
um, it depends on. Right now, my daughter went back to school, so it's a little bit easier to work out now. During the summer, she's here with me all the time, which my gym has like a daycare that we pay for, so I take her there. But now it's like, I actually take her to the gym with me in the morning. Daycare watches her, and then I drop her off at school on the way back. But yeah, probably, yeah, it's probably 4 or 5. I would say it depends. It
Way to
depends.
go. That's great.
Probably 4 or 5. I feel like sometimes though, kind of like how you were saying, how you just go through the motions a little bit. Some days I kind of feel like that, honestly, and it's a little disappointing. But like, I don't know, what are you gonna like? Is it better to like not go, or is it better to go and not do a whole lot? So
I would say it's better still to go.
yeah, and that's where I'm at. I kind of force myself to go, regardless
Oh,
of,
nice.
some days if I drink like 5 or 6 beers while I'm doing a fill cast, I still force myself to go in the morning. You know what I mean?
Oh, good job. Hell yeah. Yeah, hopefully I will too,
Yeah,
man.
these beers too.
Um,
7.7%. Getting
that's
after
decent.
it.
Is that an IPA?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
What
nice.
what do we got here? We'll call out Shorts Brewing. Uma Lupa Licious. Oh, that sounds
Have
familiar.
this. Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think I've heard of that one. Oh, this is like 5%. It's nothing much.
Well, no,
So,
that's normal. That's normal. It's no like Michelob Ultra or something, huh?
yeah.
Or what's that? Miller 65 or something, or 95? I can't remember.
Percent is that?
There's one. It's like 3.2% or something ridiculous.
Oh, that's what I need. I'm actually kind of a lightweight.
Oh, okay, all right.
Doesn't take much, but I kind of like it that way, you know? Um, but yeah, I mean, I've been going on walks every day, and I could probably use something more of what you're doing, where you say you at least make once a week where you'll go on the stairs for 45 minutes. That's quite a commitment, because the stairs are difficult. You're talking about the stair machine at your gym?
Yeah. I usually don't do stairs for a straight 45. Usually on that
Okay.
cardio day, I'll do like 20 minutes on the stairs, which 20 minutes on the stairs is usually like between 70 and 80 flights. And then I'll jump on the bike for a little while, about the same amount of time, and then I'll what I have been doing too, because I don't want to like forget about my midsection or whatever. And not that you can like target weight loss by doing ab workouts or whatever, but just so I'm like getting muscle activation in my midsection, I'll pull up like just like a 5 minute abs or a 7 minute abs, and just like follow along with it, just for something to like guide me on it or whatever. But just to do some ab stuff. So that's usually what I'll do on the cardio day. But I won't do like 45 minutes straight on the stairs. Yeah, I don't want to misrepresent what I do there. 45 minutes of
Oh, okay.
stairs would be like,
That'd be
Yeah,
pretty killer.
200 flights or some crazy. Yeah.
But even the 45 minutes on its own, that commitment, that's quite a commitment. Because I would go on. I have a stationary wind bike, the Rogue Echo bike. Maybe you've heard of those. Like those common assault bikes, or the big wind bikes with the arms and
Okay.
the big fan, kind of old school technology. It's like a Schwinn Airdyne. I really like those, but the bike will kick your ass if you want it to. But I've been going on that for like 20 minutes, but it's been many days since I've even used that,
Hmm.
because I've kind of just been excusing it as cardio, the fact that I'm going on a couple walks a day, you know? So I've been going on a couple walks and doing some weights. Yeah, realistically, I need to implement more cardio. I do have a bike, I suppose, so I have been biking a couple
Okay,
days a
yeah, that's
week.
what I've been. Every once in a while, I hop on my bike. My dad was big into bikes and stuff, so it's kind of and it is a little bit entertaining just going in a different place, or just
That's what I
getting.
like about it.
Yeah, exactly. And you can cover so much ground, so you can kind of, yeah, you can get into newer places faster, and it's not so much like, let's say you go running. Like, I've never been a runner, so
Me
disappointing.
either.
But yeah, you go running, you can go like a few miles, so you can't even go that far from your house, or you'll never make it back.
Mhm.
In my experience, anyways, I'll never make it back.
Oh
But yeah,
yeah, I'm a horrible runner.
yeah, you hop on the
So I like
bike,
running.
and you can kind of get your heart rate up. You kind of can push it, but you could also just like let off at any time. I feel like with running, it's like you're either running or you're not running. It's like there's no in between. But with the bike, you can go hard, and you're like breathing heavy, and then you hit a huge hill, and you can kind of like yeah, you go hard up the hill, and then you coast down. So you have a chance to catch your breath. So
Running is intense. I did some interval running the past week a couple times. It wasn't much at all, but it's the most I've done in a while. Yeah, you're right. Running, you're either doing it or you're not. And on the bike, you can kind of make it whatever you want it to be, which
hmm
is probably why I like it. Might not be a good thing, because you can just chill on the bike.
yeah, I mean to a
Do
point,
that.
but I do like the biking thing. My brother's been big into biking. He kind of proud of my brother for what he lost quite a bit of weight since my dad passed away. And he's done a lot of biking, a lot of getting into the gym and stuff like that. So um and that's part of the reason, like I said, mentioned a second ago, yeah, because my dad was big into riding bikes and stuff before he passed away. And that was kind of the crazy thing too, that he ended up gaining weight, but he had to get his knee replaced, and he was afraid of the surgery and whatever. So he didn't really do as much of that stuff. But that's a big reason why, anyone out there, any y'all, make sure you stay active. Iceman staying active as shit over here. And Sweet Phil trying to stay active. Y'all got to stay active out there, right?
It's nice to have some accountability, 'Cause, sometimes I'll try to get my wife to hold me accountable make sure I exercise, a way or two in the day. So yeah, that's a good thing, I think. Because yeah, I mean, have a lot of improvements to make. I could
Right.
probably lose
Yeah.
about another 10 or 15 pounds and be good.
Yeah. I mean, I probably drink a few too many of these on occasion, and I really don't eat too bad. This is like 75% of the problem right here, I
Oh,
guess.
really?
But I mean, no one's perfect, right?
That's true.
So, all right, we're looking at, it's about 9 o'clock here. I'm gonna have to put my daughter to bed real quick, but so we're gonna have to call her a night on the Phil cast here. But it's been great talking to you, my man. It's been great talking to you.
You as well, Phil. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, not a problem, not a problem. There's
Uh,
actually, crazy enough, I got more stuff on here I was going to ask you about, but we're coming up against the time clock here, so maybe we'll have to do it again, not so in the distant future, huh?
yeah, let's stay in touch. That sounds great.
All right, sounds good, man.
Thank you. That's
It's been
exciting.
awesome. May you have many riches in the future, and may the stars
Yeah.
bless you with all of everything you desire.
May the start. Thank you. Hell yeah.
So,
Appreciate it, bro.
all right, peace out, Iceman, and don't forget, before you guys go, hit the like button. All right. Ugh.